last year I had to ask him. I was like, the whole race thing's gotten real bad lately, you know. And I asked him, I was like, you know, are my heritage and my ancestors, my history, like it's not much to be proud about in there. Well, I've learned that we were Irish, actually, a lot of real heavy in Irish. So we were treated pretty fucking bad too.
Yeah.
Which I should have figured that out with the gray chin, the blonde hair. I was like, and the pale as could be. But yeah, I was like, we don't have much to be proud about. Like we were pretty fucked up. I get that. So what do we take? Like how do I take any pride in any kind of my heritage? He's like, you don't need to take pride in that. You take pride in the fact that you're now the generation that's changing it all. Like you're the one that's going to be the generation that changes it. Or has to continue changing it. And I was like, okay, I can
like
live with
that.
that.
Yeah.
I can dig that. And it's stuck with me for a while because he didn't know how to answer it at first. He had to think about it. And usually he's like a jazz musician, real super cool. Like there could be two people arguing and somehow he can agree with both of them. And then like it's just he's really cool guy. Was real cool jazz musician, joint in his mouth at all times. That guy.
Yeah.
And he always had something wise to say. Like if not, he'd be like, "Oh hell no!" Like that number. But enough about me. This one's about you. So we got Emily Zell. You just started comedy. What made you start comedy? 10 months ago. You're coming up on your first year.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever admitted this. How I actually got into comedy is because if I got into like long TV shows, then I wouldn't do my homework. What a nerdy answer. And so I was like, a 1 hour commitment, stand up. And I like fell in love with it and like loved it and was really interested in it. And I had a friend at that point. I was in Columbia at Mizzou, and I had a friend who did comedy. And he was like, Emily, like, I know you like thinking about comedy, but like, you're funny. Like, you could try it. And I was like, I don't know, whatever. And then, long story short, he took me to an open mic, and I was like, oh, this is like really chill. Like, no one cares if
you're like, I might be better than them. Yeah, I know it is. Like, that's what really pushed my foot through. I was like, oh, I think I got some of these guys beat. That think they're good. Like,
so I tried it and loved it. But actually, my first time was in April. And then I didn't do it again till June. End of the semester, I guess.
Don't do drugs. You don't do any drugs, right? Because those are like comedy for me was like I was like that feeling. I was like, I haven't done heroin, but I'm sure that's what it feels like. Like when you crush it, like when you, like I remember my first time actually crushing it, and like I think it was Mike had another lady running an open mic on Tuesdays at the back door. And I got called, I hit them up, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you a spot, come on up. And I came up there, and it was like my second time going on a Tuesday. And the lady came up to me that was running it and was like, you had the best set of the night. And there was like Sean Don was on there. It was like a bunch of guys. I was like, oh, shit. And I had that feeling. I was like, hell yeah, for about 20 minutes. And I was like, that's probably heroin. That's how heroin feels, I'm sure.
No, for real. So then I did it again in June. And I was at the back door, and then as soon as I did that, I was like, when can I like get up again? Like it was that kind of feeling of like I remember my mom being like, she was like, why do you need to go again tonight? Like you did comedy last night. And I was like, you don't get it.
Yeah, you don't. It's a grind, especially in your like first few years, like really. And there's some comedians, I've read, I've heard. There's a couple, it's a not controversial. It's just one of those things that the topic is: should you be grinding like the way we go out there and we try to? If we could be at 3 every night, we try.
Yeah.
Like there's a big reason I put that whole big huge whiteboard up there. It was like everywhere there's a star, I did open mic or a show or something, and that's to remind me, and that's. Because Will Donald I had on here, and he's like, I hit my second 230th open mic last night. And I was like, how the fuck do you know? He's like, oh, I count. I keep track. I was like, oh, shit. He's like, you don't keep track of your, like, gym? I was like, I don't go to the gym. I'm a construction worker. Like, I don't like to go to the work. That's the gym. And so, yeah, I was like, that's a good idea. And then I heard, I think Jerry Seinfeld or somebody said to make a big big, huge whiteboard, so I overdid it. Like, and I use it for work, all my jobs that I have lined up and stuff too. So it really does help because it helps me see it, and it's like I have ADHD real bad, and I'm a stoner, so like I can get distracted real quick. And like I gave up the meth last week, so I'm scatterbrained. No.
I felt like I was serious in comedy when I stopped counting how many open mics I was doing. Like, because I remember being like, this is my 7th time ever.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Just do it and then stop counting. Yeah. And then I was like, look at me. I'm just on the grind.
Yeah. There's a lot of people think that's how you have to do it. Some comedians will be like, that's the way you got to do it. Me personally, I've learned in the past, like it's just the past like year or so, I've learned like I do that for like a month or two straight. It's just I'll hit as many mics as I can, and it just feels like I'm getting a lot done. I'm really perfecting a lot of bits, really putting together another 5 minutes bit a set and putting it to the side for to be able to do more time and starting a new one. And then it's just I learned that I need to take a week off, not to do anything with comedy at all. Like, and it helps because I just start not writing whatsoever, not thinking of any jokes and not doing anything. And it's usually that week you'll see I do a week usually where it's just like I just go up and do all crowd work. I don't know. I feel like there's one. I used to do the Cusamanos once a week on Wednesday nights. I used to always go there and do just like crowd work. That's all I would do. Like each week there'd be one night, one mic. Usually was like Thursdays. Open the back door. I would like do as much new stuff as I could and finish with something strong. And then that would help me build a lot of material if I got one or two good jokes out of it there. And then Wednesday nights was Cusamanos. That was all crowd work. And then like Tuesdays, if I got on at the Funny Bone, I would do my regular set, whatever I had, and then or the Word Up because I don't want to get booed out of there. You might not get back on. No, they'll put you on. You pay $5, but the money goes to a charity, so I'm cool with it. Like they do some feed the neighborhood thing, and that one's a good one. Like that's one of my favorite mics. And at the end of every month, the last Tuesday of every month, they have a competition. I've almost won.
Nice.
If Marquise Moore wasn't fucking there. Like he got me by 3 points. I was like, you bastard. I was like, but I would have felt bad taking that $100 and being the only white guy. Like I would have like
I feel like I have to give out sections of this reparations.
Like he doesn't. Yeah, I believe in the reparations. Like, if I could give it to him, like I did a joke about that. I was like, "What is Black History Month?" I was like, it's horrible the things that they had to go through. I was like, could you imagine just trying to get Black History Month in? I was like, could you imagine my ancestors? They were like, they want what? A whole month? Not like a weekend, a Cinco de Mayo thing. They want a whole month. Oh, we can't do that. We can't do it. And then someone got smart and was like, well, we want reparations. And he pulled out the calendar. What month you say you wanted? You said February, right? Shut up, Bill. It's fucking the shortest one. But my wife's birthday's in February. And, but it didn't land all that well.
I think that's a good bit.
But I was like, what the fuck is a day anyways? What good are days? It's like, I can't pay the weed man or the bartender for pussy with days. Like, I don't care how many you got in your wallet. Like, they don't take days. Like, we want cash. And I say we. And I'm like, they want cash. Like, but, it is what it is.
I had a professor talk about reparations in the classroom as like not disciplining Black kids if they do something like if they misbehave in the classroom, but disciplining the white kids. And I was like, that's just awesome. Just imagine being like, shut up, Charlie.
I get it, but when it comes like it's gotten so like what is it? What I'm trying to say? It's really in the media and everything today. It's stigmatized and controversial. The what is it they call it? CRT. Like I had to ask my best friend Antonio. I was like, I brought him. I was like, this CRT thing. Man. I was like, I remember we went to school together. Like when they taught us what the slave trade was, and then what we did to the indigenous people. I was like, we thought of genocide, right? We were all on the same page. We knew what the definition of genocide was. You thought the same thing I thought. So isn't that like critical race theory? Like it's obvious like what we did. Like I don't think there's many kids in 6th or 5th grade that are learning about what the slaves and have been like, oh well, it wasn't that bad, or learning about the Trail of Tears and was like, well, we gave them some blankets. It's okay.
But that's like where it's at. I mean, especially like becoming a teacher right now. I mean, there was like a lady in Texas that was like, when you teach the Holocaust, all we're asking is to teach both sides. And I'm like, what's the other side? Like, Jews are the worst and should die? Like, I don't think you should teach that side. Like, Hitler had a point.
Well, there's one video that really it does give a lot of things that they don't teach you. I watched. It's banned a lot of places, but it's like a 13-hour long documentary. It's called like Europa or something like that. And it definitely, especially the last like 3 hours, gets really heavy-sided and biased on one side. You're like, I didn't see it going this way. Like I felt it throughout. I was like, this is definitely like kind of saying Hitler was a good guy in a way. But it brings up a lot of the little shit, the little things that happened. Like if something goes down with Russia and Ukraine right now, the sanctions we're putting on them today aren't going to be really discussed and stuff like that. The speeches, the stuff like that, you don't hear about what they were saying to each other and what each other wanted. Who was it? I think it was Churchill or whatever at one point in time. Really, it didn't matter, like, because I think Hitler was like, y'all have them. They can go. Leave. Get out. We're not going to do nothing to them. And then it just got, I guess the way they presented it, it got worse and worse. And like the other countries were really pushing this thing. And I can believe it, especially after you actually learn history. It's like, I don't believe anything that they're telling me anymore. Like growing up, luckily in a black family, you learn a lot of little things that they don't teach you at school. A lot of the history that was passed down from their grandparents and grandparents and grandparents. Like you learn a lot of shit. You learned like we weren't taught about 16th. We weren't talking about
Juneteenth.
Yeah, Juneteenth, not 16th. And there was multiples of those. There was many towns that happened to. Yeah. Like they just uncovered one or declassified one that they allowed the paper to be written about in an article. But the library had it locked up. The local library at this place had the article and what actually happened in this town locked up, and it was considered classified by the government. And because they just didn't want to deal with it. It's kind of like I guess what the CRT thing is going on.
The CRT thing honestly really pisses me off because I'm like, like it's just dumb. Like all we're basically saying with CRT is like if you talk about like a racial thing that happened in history, you can be like, there's like some racial biases going on there. Yeah. I would say that's an understatement. Like about slavery, like there were probably some racial biases.
Oh yeah,
but.
Definitely.
Maybe some bias, but the
on
parents
one
are
side.
like, do not.
But like the side that I even learned about, like my stepdad's the one that told me. He's like, oh no, we was selling ourselves to them motherfuckers. Like we didn't, like on the African end, which isn't talked about much. He's like, it didn't matter. There was Asians, there was whites, there was blacks. They were all being enslaved. It wasn't a white and black thing until it got to America, which it still really doesn't make sense that there was already a unsophisticated, savage group of people here that we didn't enslave, but we went all the way through Africa. Like that's the one point in history I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why did we do the whole Africa thing?
Kind of interesting.
Like
like all the movies, you're like those like this like. Those like spears that they throw. I'm like, that looks pretty good. I don't feel like I would go near the Native Americans
or the Africans.
That's like fair. That's fair. But if they're selling
can
each
you
other,
imagine like a white European colonizer like coming up looking like the Quaker Oat man and shit, and then seeing this big tribal fucking tribe leader, black as night, like. Come on, like who was the first one to think like I'm gonna take him? Like I'm gonna take him and make him my field hand.
Perfect
like
on my farm.
Like that doesn't. Like I don't know because I'm scared of a black dude in a goddamn wheelchair. Not like racial way, just because I know he can still kick my ass. I grew up with black people. They are better than us at everything, damn near. Like, everything. Besides school shootings and water sports. We got them beating those two things. And our white women, they can hail a manager pretty quick. Like, they're good at filing a complaint. I'm not going to lie. But everything else, far superior than us. Like, every sport. Like, I used to hate it growing up as a kid. Like, the cousins and everything, better than me. I played basketball every day. Practice every day, was on the team every day. My cousin that didn't get off his ass could come out there and just wreck me. Like, it was nothing. Like, it just never made sense. I'm like, how you guys so much, how did it happen? Like, this doesn't make sense. It's not adding up.
Yeah.
Even today with the numbers, like, there's so many more of us than there is them. I'm still thinking that they could take us. like, have you been downtown St. Louis during a protest? That shit's nuts. Like, I've gone down a couple of times, but I did volunteer fire department for a while back in Carolina. So I would go down there with a medic bag and everything, and just I didn't care who was hurt. Somebody was hurt, I'd help, but they start getting that you start hearing a couple F whiteys, and you're like, time to go. Like, time to get out of here. And I get it. Like, because even after my first time watching Roots, I was like, fuck them white motherfuckers. Because I watched it as a little kid. I didn't understand really everything that was going on. And not until I was in my teens and I watched it again, I was like, oh, shit. Like, because we grew up down south. Like, I seen it, right? It's much stronger down there still to this day. Racism is a much thicker thing down there. But my mom's family wouldn't even let my stepdad in the house to stay, like, when we would come out back home for family vacations. And, yeah, he wasn't, like, and it didn't click with me, like, how bad it was. Like, it was a weird thing. Because to me, growing up, it was just normal. Yeah. Like, white, black, purple, yellow, it did not matter. Like, it didn't matter. Besides, when it came to sports, they fucking beat us every time. But... yeah, so the critical race theory, that was the best thing I've heard about. Antonio explained it. He's like, there was only one class he ever had. And I think a lot of teachers should take this because it was brilliant. He said, it's not that we're not given the information about what happened. You know, that we're told, read this chapter where you'll be tested on it then. He's like, you never talked about it. And said, I only had one teacher in 6th grade that ever sat down and actually talked about what slavery was, how it made us feel, the repercussions that are still being echoed today. He's like, I only had one teacher that ever taught that. He's like, I don't need a whole theory and all this other shit. They just need teachers that know how to actually deal with a kid that's finally learning about this shit. That's like, oh, this is why my uncles and my dad and my mom are like, fucking my white motherfuckers. Like, I heard that shit all the time. Like, you get cut off on the road, it was this stupid white motherfucker. I bet it's when these white motherfuckers think they own the road in their Beamer, and you pull up and it's an old black lady. Like, but
no, but I feel like CRT is just, they just put a name to what people are already doing there of like having those conversations. But the thing is, what happened is parents were like, stop making my children feel white guilt, and then it became this like whole thing. Yeah,
and there was, I think, a few. There was a few cases. There's a few cases that they do have some. What are those people called? They're like, they were like going around. They protest the conservatives basically. Like if the conservatives try to do a protest or whatever, Antifa, is that their name? The Antifa guys. There was some of those like Marxist Antifa types that have been caught that were in the school board, and like they were the guys that are working on the thing, and they kept saying it's not CRT, that it's not even a thing, it's not being taught, and then it's like, it's right here in your handbook for the years of review. I was like, why did y'all name it? I was like, to me, I think it's just it's a thing for the media. I think it's something that rouses the feathers.
Absolutely.
Like, would you think we were taught about it? Why don't you want your kid taught about it? Like,
and your kid was taught about it, and like, or they still will be. They just won't use that word. But now we just call everything that. Like, now they're just like, is that CRT? Like, I smell CRT over here. So
Yeah, it's another big thing I feel it is it's that a lot of the white man is starting to come to realization that we will not be the majority, but maybe another generation or two. Hopefully, science. If we really, like, I do another bit about that. I was like, I know how we can end racism. Like, we just stop having pure white babies. No more white babies. No more. I was like, we can knock out cop brutality, unseasoned chicken food and food. I was like, in school shootings, all one bang, boom. It was like one generation. We can knock it out. I was like, and I'm willing to be the first one to offer. I usually find a black chick in the crowd and mess with her, but if she's hot, if she doesn't have to be hot, just have boobs. You know, I'm a guy. Straight white male, you know, we are toxic.
Yeah, gosh.
I guess. I don't really understand that one either. It's a toxic masculinity.
You feel like
because there's not much masculinity about me. Like, I guess around certain people, yeah, I'm the more masculine one, the construction worker, blah, 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 yeah. But you put me in a construction crew and I'm the bitch usually. Like, I'm the little guy. Like, so I don't know. I've been called all of those. Like, with my comedy, before it gets polished, I pissed off some people. Like, my first one, Alex Blodgett's old lady was pissed. Like, pissed. Wanted me to apologize and shit. I was like, I'm not apologizing for no abortion joke. I was like, I'm just going to go do another abortion joke. I was like, and I did. And my abortion jokes now are polished. But I had to piss off a few people first.
You're like, I'm sorry, I'm working on these right now.
I like it when people get in, like, those nights. Like, you'll see those nights and it's like 4 or 5 people come up and they start trying to do their abortion jokes or something. Maybe 1 or 2 are good. And I've already got my polished ones. And they're quick and easy. And it's like, you know, just ones that don't make anyone, like, too uncomfortable. Just like abortionists or just really bad pediatricians. And, like, it's a quick one, gets their attention. At first they're like, oh, abortion. Oh, okay, that's the abortionist isn't even a real word, motherfucker. Like, and then I do how do they charge? That one's the one I think pissed her off. Is where I was like, how do you charge for a twin baby abortion? Like, do they hit you with an extra vacuum bag tax, or is it a BOGO? Like, I don't know. But yeah, and I had a whole 5-minute set of abortion, just abortion.
Wow.
Yeah, it was about my wife and I seeing that 1.4 women a year die while undergoing abortion. I guess there's a midget in there. I don't know where the 0.4 came from. You know? I'll ask one, you know, but they're not into small talk. So, but yeah, that's all the old stuff. I haven't done none of that in a long time. It feels like a long time, but these past 2 years have really gone by. Yeah. Fast, and it just seems like it just keeps speeding up more and more. And I knew that, what was it, like, when you get older, as you get older, you have more days, more years that you pack in, so days do feel shorter. Yeah. Years feel like they're shorter. Yeah, because, like, when you were 12, you've only lived 12 years, so a year is a really long time. You know, it's literally a 12th of your lifespan. And now it's like I'm 32. I'm like a socket set or something. Like, it's getting short, especially like war and shit. Like, they're talking about war with Russia. I was like, what year is it? What do you think about that? How do you feel?
What do I think about the war in Russia?
Yeah, Ukraine and everything.
Yeah, I've just been waiting for someone to ask, honestly. Like, what is Emily Zell's take on
there's certain people I would ask, and you're pretty intelligent from what I've learned. You got a college, going for a college degree, right?
Yeah, May 2022.
Oh, we're close. Shit. Yep. We're partying May 2022.
Honestly, I'm just going to be totally honest. I don't know that much about it, but I do know that my very conservative mom was watching CNN this morning, and I was like, what is happening? I was like, oh my God, what is happening in Russia that's making you watch CNN? But I have 3 students writing papers about it right now because I'm a high school English teacher, and I'm excited to read your paper and figure out what the fuck is going on. Yeah. It sounds not good. I would say that's my official stance.
It's not good at all. And I think I really think this one's going to raise. I think we're going to see a lot of social, like, we're gonna see this shit. Like I've always said, the revolution won't be televised, but damned if it won't be fucking recorded on somebody's phone and uploaded on video with World Star being yelled in the background. Like that's how it's gonna go, and we're already seeing it. We're already. I go on TikTok every time other swipe is a video of missiles hitting just kids screaming and crying and bombs going off. I'm already like pissed and not sick of seeing it, but like this is war, and I don't think we've ever actually seen war. We've heard the stories, we've seen the aftermath, but we are first going to see it damn near as firsthand as we can, and I think it will be enough. Hopefully, probably not. Be enough for the people to be like, no, fuck this. Like, this is this is fucking horrible. Like, this is, because I'm not left or right. I don't like either side. I follow politics. People really get annoyed with me because it's like, I think both sides are equally corrupt. Like, conservatives, I think the people that call themselves a liberal or conservative or left or right, I think they've just drinking the Kool-Aid. I think they've literally have so many signs and tells of cult members in the way they follow them, especially the Trumpers and the people that support Biden. Like, if you can't admit, motherfuckers, like, come on, like they're talking about him running again. It's like, no. If you fuckers let him run again, if you let him finish out his term,
so I went to like dog sit at this house, and this guy had this massive, like, it took up all his wall, and it was a flag with a picture of Trump standing on a tank, and I just
motherfucker avoided the draft. That's the kind of shit that, like, come on. Like, he ain't catching pedophiles. He hangs out with the pedophiles. He wasn't on the jet. He has his own jet. Like, he don't need to ride his.
You know what? I would bet all my money that there's not one person in the world that has that poster, but with Biden. No. Like, I get that both sides are kind of culty, but I don't think Biden, like, screams cult leader.
Yeah,
I think he's just like vibing up there.
No, it's just you've got the people that were like, there's a lot of people that did vote Biden just because they were sick of the Trump thing. They thought that was going to get rid of the Trump thing. Nope, it just amped it up even worse. You know, did you see like all the QAnoners at the Texas waiting for JFK or not JFK, the Kennedy guy to come back that died in the 90s?
What?
Yeah, he didn't show up. He literally ghosted him because he's dead. Like, yeah, they all showed up at Dallas where JFK supposedly got shot at the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
They were waiting on the Kennedy's son to show up that had died in the plane crash or whatever back in the day. Because he was going to come back and he was going to be vice president and Trump was going to take back over the office. And it's like, you guys have lost your fucking minds. Like, literally. But then you got the left that just doesn't want to admit. They're like, yeah, Trump's bad and we got to get him out of office. So we're going to go ahead and just vote for this. He's the lesser of two evils. But they don't want to hold any account. It's like the Wuhan lab leak. Like, it's fishy. And no one wanted, you're conspiracy theorists if you don't want to think that it could have come from a lab, when that shit happens every year. There's some shit that gets released from a lab or some new shit gets made. And I was like, you got to at least look into it. You can't just write shit off. Like, you can't. Like, that's like writing off. That's just like the Trumpers writing off the fact that he's got a lot of fucking allegations of pedophilia. And, like, it's like, come on. Like, we got to be real. These are the people that are running our country. Like, yeah. And it's like Nancy Pelosi. I don't know why. I just hate that bitch. I hate Pelosi with a passion. She has done nothing good for any of politics. Nothing. Like, she's done nothing but made herself rich. That's the only reason she's in office, is for her husband to fucking rake in the millions of dollars. She's like the reason this guy made a software that like follows all the politicians' trades and everything. You can go on there, and they were literally following her. It was Nancy's a whale, because a whale is a big buyer in the stock market or whatever. They buy a lot of shares. And they would just follow her trades anytime she made a trade, because she would literally buy a shit ton of put options or call options and then approve a contract for Microsoft. And she'd buy the options and then Microsoft and make millions. Like, it's just, they're all doing that. There's a whole fucking list of them that just came out by Politico last year. And it's like, this is ridiculous. But Pelosi's the front runner. That's like, when asked, shouldn't we, like, this should be like put a stop. You guys shouldn't be allowed to trade stocks. Like, they're not even just investing it in like ETFs or stuff like single stock companies. Like and then she's awarding the company she's investing in government contracts worth billions, which is gonna make the price go up.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's insider trading all day long. And she's like, no, we shouldn't be. We should be allowed to. It's the free market. It's like, that's not a free market. Like, you have inside information. There's nothing free about that. But the funniest one, I think, is that the real loudmouth one. What's his name? His dad was a politician. It was like I think his dad was a real libertarian. Not Ron Paul. I think it was Paul, Ron Paul. He all about finance. This guy, like, is a genius when it comes to like the finances and like debt. And he's been screaming that our debt is crazy. But his son is now in office and a Republican, and his wife was trading stocks right before COVID, like, because they all were doing that, like with the COVID shit, weeks before they said it was actually a pandemic. And they traded the wrong way. Like, they lost money. I was like, God damn, you really got to be bad at this game if you're losing money with inside information. And like Martha Stewart went to prison for a lot less. All she did was take her money out because somebody told her, was like, bitch, that shit's about to crash. Like, you need to get your money out. And she took her money out. She didn't make no money off of it. She just didn't lose any money. And they threw her ass in prison. These people, these politicians, only make like $100K a year, and they are millionaires afterwards. Like, how do you go in as Obama with not even $1 million in the bank and come out like $400 million strong? Like, book deal ain't that good. I've read the back of it. It ain't that good.
It ain't that good.
Yeah, I've seen the cover. All right, that's what I'd make my judgments off of. If you ain't got a cool cover, no, I'm not reading it.
You are like, I'm judging this book by this cover.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what happens to me. Anytime I get pulled over, so I smell marijuana. I'm sure you do. Like, go ahead and search.
That's quite an assumption you just made.
Yeah. I love it when I don't have any weed on me, though. I'm like, and then they don't search me. I'm like, you don't want to search?
Like,
you
just
know,
a little.
like, come on, man.
That's like on my 21st birthday when I was like, can you please card me? I'm so happy. And they were like, oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember turning 21. I had a fake ID from the time I was like 17 or 18 because all my friends were 22, 23 years old when I was 18. So they had already thought I was 21. So I had a big party, and they all found out that it was my 21st birthday about halfway through. And one of them got intelligent, was like, I've been serving you at the bar for like 3 years, man. What the fuck? You know, I get a $10,000 fine. I was like, yeah, but you didn't. But I could, but you didn't. So
let's celebrate that we all made it today.
And I wasn't even drinking most of the time those nights. I was a DD. That's the only reason I had a fake ID, was to get into the bars in the, down in Virginia Beach, where all the Virginia Beach Strip was. And yeah, it was cool. If we didn't have the cool clubs like y'all out here, fully nude titty bars and stuff.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
They are. Yeah, y'all. That's crazy. I see.
I bet. Do we really have those here in St. Louis?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's cool. Yeah, my first time, because we have like booby tassels at most of ours. You'd be lucky to find a nipple in the strip clubs down south because you did that Bible Belt shit. I came here and we left, and all bars shut down at like 1:45. Out here, we left and it was daylight. And when we went, it was night. When we left in the morning, I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is horrible. It's like, no wonder DUIs aren't an automatic felony here. 'Cause where I'm from, that shit's an automatic felony. 30 days in jail before you're allowed to be seen in court. Yeah, like they don't fuck around in Virginia and Carolina with DUIs. And I came here, and I learned this from my wife because she has this rule. Do you have a car? Do you have your own place? You know, the things like is on every girl's Tinder profile. And I was like, no, on the car. Still live. Just moved back in home with my parents because and she's like, are you a felon? I was like, I don't know if I'm a felon yet. I'm still going through court. I just got out of jail.
I'll
And,
keep you posted.
yeah, I'll let you know about that. And yeah, so I asked her, I was like, what about you? She's like, oh, I've only had a DUI. I've only been to jail once for DUI. I was like, bitch, you're a felon. She's like, nah, that was a misdemeanor. I was like, no wonder. I was like, you guys are so, like, y'all got some lenient ass drinking rules out here in Missouri. And I get it, Anheuser Brewery and everything. Like when I worked at the Busch Stadium as a bartender, like they'd get you fucked up and send you home after work.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, God damn, I gotta catch the metro, and they're gonna rob me on the metro because I'm drunk. Uh, that bitch isn't safe at night. I don't know if you've ever gone down there, but when you start
To Busch
reading
Stadium?
the metro downtown, like, and not know where you're at and take the wrong.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
I'm a woman. We
Yeah,
don't
she's
we don't
like,
go places
yeah,
alone.
we're in Wildwood, all right? I got my Rav or my
pretty
Jeep
intense,
or, or my Volkswagen. That Jules is from Chesterfield. She was
Yeah.
your typical.
Both pretty spicy places.
Yep, right there off Shuttler Road where yeah, all those big old houses are.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna wifey this one up. She's got a 401k. Like, her dad's got money. Just gotta wait for. No, I'm kidding. Her dad's never gonna die. He's like, he just hit 70 something, and he looks like he's 30. He swims every day. I do not think he's 70. Like when I see him, like he looks a little bit more older than 30 now because he's white. But like my stepdad, when he hit 70, literally looked 30. Like the black don't crack. Like
Okay.
it's like everyone thought he was just like a 30, 40-year-old man. Dude was like 70 something.
Damn.
Yeah. But he was just so cool. Like, you know how black people have that swag. Like white people, we just ain't got it. We don't have the rhythm. We can always off just a half a second.
You're not wrong.
No, I'm not.
I at school there was like a custodian or whatever after school, and I walked into the room he was in, and he was like, oh my God. He was like, you look 27. And I was like, okay, I'm 22. And he was like, you got 5 more years of not looking your age. And I was like, thanks for gassing me up, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
That's
all I was looking for.
a new way to go
Yes, I'll
about
take
it.
that.
You're only 22?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, young.
I know. I'm about to graduate college.
I know. You never know, though, with people in college. I know my
I didn't
friend,
take any breaks.
my buddy, which I guess, he's going doctor or whatever. He just got some program. He does some kind of biomolecular shit on the brain with like lasers and shit for genetic disorders. But I mean, you wouldn't ever tell. He's got real long hair, sleeves, both arms tatted up. So like, he comes in after doing surgery on your kid's brain, takes off his mask and rolls his sleeve up and lets his hair down. Kids are like, you just worked on my child's brain? But he's a musician. Like I think he was managed Rise Against or Say Anything or one of those bubblegum girly pop bands that they call themselves punks, but that's not punk if you're a real punk. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I get really intense about what's a punk
I'm really
and what's not.
I don't want no Blink 180 fucking 2 in here.
It's a serious divide.
It was actually when I was 21, the punk rock scene. Yeah, I was the older punk rock. I liked the Misfits and all the what you think of when you hear of a punk. And then you had these guys that were like screaming and crying in the microphone, and we were like, "That's not punk. Like we beat those kids up." Like, and today, I don't know. I don't listen to music much. New music from today. Not if it's on the radio.
Yeah.
I got a lot of indie bands, like a lot of different European musicians lately, because I found this one thing on YouTube, and they've just got the hottest fucking musicians every time. It's like, man, they're killing us. Like, why is Europe always got so much better? Like everything, we copy everything. Their style, they're like always ahead of us one step. Like the Beatles. I remember hearing about the Beatles from my grandfather and how they were long haired and everything, and I always thought they were like these real long haired hippie. Like, and then I seen the picture of them, I was like, that's not the Beatles. And like the Beatles have long hair, and it's like that's not long hair. And I just always thought of them the complete different thing. And now I think of the Beatles, and I was like, oh, they're the old like grandpa type guy. Like I don't know. You hear that being like a revolutionary. It's like, if you would have just waited 50 years. Like, listen to the shit. We're here. WAP, motherfucker.
For real. I'm like really bad at listening to music. Not like I just don't do it. I was at the club with my friend and it was emo night and she was like, if you don't know any of these songs, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And I knew none of them. And she was like, Jesus fucking Christ, like what is this? You know, like she was like, and I was like, I just don't I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I like my older music. I got a bunch of vinyl. I collect vinyl, but the music that I'm into shocks a lot of people. I like old R&B, like Lou Rawls, Charlie Wilson, Luther Vandross, stuff like that, and it really throws people. That and blues, and jazz. But when me and one of the ladies are knocking the boots, you put some good jazz on. Make some dinner. You're getting it. You know.
The jazz is the trick.
Yeah. But not for the wife. Only the new chicks. The wife, she's done with that trick. She's like, you're gonna have to find a new one.
She's like, jazz? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. She's like, I don't like jazz. Leave me alone. But I guess that's what happens after that many years. You never know. You'll know eventually. I'm sure you're a cute girl. You'll find a husband. I'm sure. Working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple guys interested. I actually know for a fact there's a couple at the club that are like, I think I'm gonna try to see what's up with Emily, see if she needs some help on her jokes. Like, no, you're not. That's not what you're doing. I was like, you're a dog. But let me know if she needs any help and she wants to do a writing class.
A private writing class?
No, I mean like an actual group. Like I'm into the orgy thing. No,
I was like back on class mode. I was like, class.
I am. I'm a classy lady. Like you have to take me out first.
And then you can help me with my jokes. Yeah.
We'll make one good joke. The size of my peak. No, I'm kidding. So, what is your plans of comedy? You're killing it a lot. I see you doing a lot of shows. Like Mike's been putting on you a lot. He's good for that with new comedians.
Yeah.
And especially since he's got another female to put on. It's bad. Like it's usually all guys. Mm-hmm. Three out of four of them are white dudes with the same dick jokes. Mm-hmm. I thought you're already a teacher, right?
I'm doing my student teaching right now.
So how long have you been speaking to kids?
A hot minute, a while. I've been a sub for a really long time.
Okay, so because I think I've seen one of your first times, and I could just tell immediately. I was like, she does some form of speaking already. And then I think you did a joke, or you said something about being a teacher.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's she's got Jules does a lot of that. She runs a Sweet and Sassy out of West County Mall.
Oh,
she deals with all the high school girls and has to train them and all that. So she's used to speaking to groups of people. And you can always tell when someone speaks to groups of people and don't, because it's just one leg up that you have on the rest of the new people, because you don't have that nervous, uncomfortable. When I first started, I sat on the stool with my hat over my face a lot, and did all one-liners, just all really not bad. They're good one-liners, but somebody was getting mad.
No, but I feel like it's also the reverse. My host teacher was like, she said my very first lesson that I did in the class, I was like, "What's up, guys?" I started like that, and she was like, oh, "Okay, I can tell that you do comedy." Who's drinking this morning? Yeah.
Who's hungover? Who's got herpes? Who's got? I remember there was this kid, and Angela Gray had just done her set, and she just did her joke about the cannonball penis out of the vagina joke that she does. And there was this kid that was sitting at the front table. And I think he just turned 18 or was there because he had just graduated. But they were tiny. This kid was tiny. I was like, there's no way these kids are graduating already. But then I guess I see a group of high schoolers, I'm like, maybe they're getting tiny. They look a little soft to me. I don't remember being that tiny. But then I look at pictures and I was like, it was probably pretty soft then. I knew I was. But his face when she was talking about her vagina and shoot, he was just like, he didn't know how to react because she's so going in detail about her vagina, and you could tell he's probably still a virgin. I'm putting my money on a virgin. Like, he probably hasn't seen pussy yet, like real pussy in front of him, like, especially not close up, maybe on the television screen or his phone. But she's talking about it, and he is right there, and she's just walking back and forth in front of him. And I come on and I call him. I was like, "Did you see this kid's face?" And his face just got red as shit. And it was great for that, like the like a high schooler. Like, who was it that came and started? There was a, what's a little high schooler? Just graduated. He's got longer hair. Alex Hayes.
Oh yeah, is he just after high school?
Yeah, he right before COVID like shut everything down. I think he did his first open mic.
Okay.
But he had two other friends with him that you could tell like they had been working on these sets. And I'm not gonna lie, he had one buddy that never came back that did really good. Like, he first made fun of himself, which is always a great way to start it off, because he had like this sweater that looked like a lesbian would have, like a tomboyish lesbian would have on. He looked like he definitely looked like a chick in a way, real feminine in a way. But he did this joke about being next to the buildings in 9/11 or something, and he's like, I would have probably been jerking off, like feeling the rumbles, like. And I was like, you motherfucker. Like, I remember 9/11. That's funny. And like, he never came back. He never came. I was like, and I told him, I was like, hey, if this is y'all's first go around, stick with it. Like, same thing with you at your age. I wish I would have got in early. You guys, you definitely, because you're not afraid. That was one good thing for Alex too. He does not care. He's gonna go say what he prepared to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can tell, which is probably one of the best things to have when starting off comedy, just the confidence in talking to people, like groups of people, because it makes the crowd more comfortable. I think I've learned, because I can tell certain nights when I feel like I'm gonna bomb, I'm like, I'm just gonna bomb. I can feel it in my gut that the crowd, like, and then you walk into the club and it's like 10 people and none of them are laughing. They're just sitting there with their arms folded. It's like, yeah, I'm bombing.
You're like, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to do all new stuff. That's not funny.
I know.
Or I'll go on my phone and look at news articles and just try to play with that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously not worth recording or doing. Are you recording your sets?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you record them on voice memos or do you film them?
Oh, I film mine.
Okay, I film mine too, but I feel like there's a lot of people that just voice memo it, which is fine. Go for it. But.
Yeah, that doesn't give me. I like to. I'll usually, a lot of times, like especially if it's a good crowd at the back door, I'll use both of my phones to record two angles, and I can put them on 4K, and I can throw them up on YouTube to save them afterwards. And then you've got if you want to edit them between the two camera angles. And then if you, for some random night, you've got a great crowd, you can go ahead and tape it and you'll have something to get booked with, like send it to somebody. 'Cause you never know when you're really going to kill it. And it helps me with the different movements and to see actually how the crowd reacts. That's one thing I've always wanted to do, is take my camera up and record the crowd. Instead of it recording me, just see the actual reactions. Because when I'm getting laughs, that's all I'm hearing. I'm getting that feedback. I'm not really seeing their faces. I know when I get O's and when I get laughs, like the two. But I really want to see I need to learn the reaction of the crowd to see. I just think it would help just to be able to I don't know, to see actually how well the jokes are doing, or how the crowd's taking the jokes. Because when you got the lights on you, you're trying to remember the next thing and shit.
I know.
And I'm really bad with that. Like, that's my biggest, weakest part in comedy is not being able to, like I lose my place sometimes, because I've started off doing a lot of one-liners. I have a lot of one-liners that can turn into like a 2 or 3 minute little thing. And sometimes I just lose my place. And I'm just like, I'm a stoner and ADHD real bad. Like, for the longest time, I used to have my hair tied here, and I would write my set down on this little piece of paper and have it there. And I wouldn't be able to, thinking I'd be able to read it. And I'd be like, I can't read it, and everyone knew. I was like, yeah, just go up there with your notebook and tell you.
Yeah, especially for open mics. Like,
Yeah, open mics.
people understand.
Now, when I do a show, that's when I have a way I do it, but still sometimes I don't, and it gets mixed up. But like my first time doing 45 minutes, it was like I had to take a notebook up with me.
Oh, for sure.
And I took a notebook, but luckily with me, the crowd knew that I was giving a lot of jokes. So therefore, in my first year, it was all about laughs per minute. They try to tell you to do that. And so I was like, I can do that. I was like, I can take my jokes and shorten them down, which is why I actually started as a one-liner, because it wasn't until I really learned what a joke was that helped me really write comedy and write a joke. Like, and what I mean by that is like, there's like, what is it, 9 different kinds of jokes. There's like incongruency, there's misdirection, there's observation, there's all these different categories, and there's ways each one of those are set up to give you the result of the punchline in the end. And once I figured that out and learned that there is an actual, and then I just remember watching a stand-up show on Netflix or something. I was like, oh, this is an incongruency joke. Like, and it just started hitting me. Like, I was like, oh, so now when I think of something funny or hear of something funny, it already is being placed as in this category. I was like, oh, I'm observing it. That's an observational joke. So I kind of know, all right, since it's that, you know that you're going to set it up this way, and you need to misdirect them this way to get the shock or the surprise, the unexpected turn that's because that's all comedy is. It's a straight line with a sign that says left turn, and it's an actual right turn, at the end of the road. Sure. And it just, people were expecting you to go left, and you went right, and zigged instead of zagged, and that helped me a lot, be able to write. And then I just started writing. Like, I took all my jokes and everything I had, and I shorted it and made them as short as I could. I was like, I just want what's funny in it. Like, that's all I wanted. And so then I just started doing a bunch of one-liners, and I got up to like probably 100 something for that 45 minute set. And I was like, there's no way. I finally said something. I was like, I'm mixing shit up. Yeah. I was like, I got to look over here, get back on track, because I was like, the best thing about doing more time is actually, Nick Kuvar is the one that told me before I went and did that set. He's like, let your legs stretch, like actually let the jokes breathe. So being able to enjoy your comedy, because at first we're just at the open mics, you're just either trying something out or getting that rush that you get out of it. But when you do like 45 minutes, you actually get to enjoy your comedy, tell a joke, and maybe even tell it in a different way, and just laugh with the crowd instead of waiting for the crowd to stop laughing to do your next joke. It's a lot. It's more enjoyable once you get to a stage. You're like, oh, this is the same thing over and over. I'll go to back door, I'll say these jokes, and it'll be the same thing. And you kind of start, like, back door, I feel is bad. The crowd is always so good, and they're so generous with their laughs that some people come in there and they think that's the way comedy is, and then they get thrown into the word up, and they're like, oh shit, that wasn't that funny, because they just sit there like, and they'll pull their phone out on you, and it's like, God, I've had people turn their chair and look at the person behind them and start having a conversation. Damn. It's like, when the COVID first happened and they shut everything down, I learned real quick which were the comedians that say they've been doing it a long time and you think are the veterans, and the ones that are actually good, and the ones that aren't. That shook them out real quick, because they come up to the word up and they bombed. Yeah. They bombed bad. And then the ones that were able to come back and adjust and still and then kill it like they normally do, those were like, Will O'Donnell was probably the one. And he didn't bomb bad. He just came in, and it wasn't, he was doing it a style for a different crowd. For sure. And then he came back the next week and just murdered it, like he always does. I don't know if you've seen Will O'Donnell yet.
He headlined my show last week. So
nice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while. Like, there for a while, I've seen him at every mic, but he's been getting a lot of shows lately.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, because the money. like it's extra money. That's a big thing a lot of comedians don't see. That's why I have Tobin brought on here, Mike Tobin, because he really speaks about comedy from the business end.
Yeah.
And was like, I wanted to show comedians like that end of things, because that's what I get. I was like, as soon as I started doing comedy, I got my first gig, and I think my first gig was by Nate Barron at a high school graduation party thing in somebody's basement. And I got paid like $45. I was like, $45 for 15 minutes? I was like, that's a good hourly wage right there. God damn it. And so I seen that, and I was like, I can make some money. And then I did a show. I like promoted a show and everything, and at Bobby's in Valley Park. And it sold really well. Like the first one did really well. Like almost sold out, packed all the Bobbies and everything, and I made like $300 or $400. And but it shocked me just because I hear so many people that are doing shows for free, like they're putting together, doing all this work on these shows, and they're not making nothing out of it. And like I wasn't even getting in the door or selling tickets. It was a free show. All I did was VIP'd seats. I was like, I'll give the option to buy these tickets through Eventbrite for to be able to make sure they had a seat. And so many people did that. It was like, fuck yeah. And so I threw the owner of the place some schnapps, threw the couple of comics some schnapps that helped me out. Because I told them all, I was like, it's a free show. It was an open mic for comedians. I was like, I was tired of only doing 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Like, this is somewhere you can come in, do 10, 15 minutes, actually stretch your legs. I was like, and I'll put only 7 to 8 comics up instead of 18 comics. It's like, and I'll only put actual comics that I know are funny, so it'll be a good show.
Yeah.
And it went well for the first few good shows, but then sports came back around, and Bobby's Place is such a sports place. And so I started doing them at the Grand Slam, and they are family friendly. And this was after I already set everything up. I was like, so we can't talk about queers and steers in here. And she was not. She had her kid there, like for the comedy night, and didn't tell me about till the day of. She's like, oh yeah, we are family friendly, so could we, kind of. I was like, I can promise you that no one's gonna say the N-word or fag or hateful, malicious stuff like that. Like I was like, I'm pretty sure they won't. I was like, it happens. I was like, there was one guy since I've been in comedy that I know, a white guy at Funny Bone, dropped the N-bomb, and it didn't end well.
I'm sure it didn't.
They ruined that man. He got fired, from what I heard. He had was working in a landscape company as a supervisor or something, and like they've seen a picture on his went on his Facebook, and I guess did the cancellation on him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been canceled. I'm not part of that. I don't understand how you could cancel somebody, because just like Dave Chappelle, like I always say, if the shit's funny, it's funny. It's funny. Like it doesn't matter. That's how I've always said. If you can make a joke about it and it's funny, like I'm gonna laugh. I don't care if it's about the Jews. I don't care if it's about gays. I don't care if it's about Mexicans or blacks. If it's funny, I'm gonna laugh just like they're gonna laugh. Like that's if it's funny and if it's actually a realistic thing, that people are gonna laugh, and if they know it's not malicious, that's the biggest thing. But you get sometimes it comes off, and I've even asked about my joke. I asked Akhtab Muhammad one time. I was like, my dad kind of did this joke with me, and I don't think I can say it. He says I can, and he's like, I feel a little way of something about that. I was like, I'm glad I never said it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I'm one that definitely does push the line. Like I was really nervous about doing that hogging joke, where I was like, but it killed when I did. It's a great joke. Yeah, and my buddy Antonio, I asked him, I was like, hey, is this coming off racist? And he laughed his ass off. He says, no, just make sure you really, really talk about sports. Make it about being a sport. He's like, and then we're going to agree. We're better at it than sports. So, yeah, it is what it is. So when's your next show?
Next show? When is my next show? Good question. I'm doing the Apotheosis show, Tom Brown's show.
Tom Brown.
On the 6th, but I'm running a show every month in like Waterloo, Illinois.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's going okay.
Yeah? Is it a mic or?
It's a show. Like,
It's a
I
show?
pick the
Nice. Yeah.
lineup. The venue's good, but just the people that come out, it's just a bunch of, like, really old conservative people, which go for it. Be that. But, like...
You got it. Yeah, you got
But
it.
it's just, like... I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the right
You gotta
right lineup for them.
Yeah.
Because the first time, like, I had Lauren Peterson. I love Lauren Peterson. But she started, like, doing her abortion jokes, and they were, like... They turned on her so fast.
Yeah, I did. I did a Tim Law show out in, like, fucking Stacer, something, Illinois, way the fuck out there at some, like,
Yeah.
VFW hall. And Mary Jane had went up, killed it like she usually does. And I came up, and the crowd was already drunk. Like, there was one table that was already really drunk. Like, to the point to where you couldn't have a conversation to try to, like, all right, let me just crowd work these guys and try to get them on board.
Yeah.
And everybody else was, but they just started, like, talking shit. Boo. I was booed off the stage. Like,
Oh,
wait until
damn.
you have one of those. Only a good comic really has a good booed off stage. Yeah, and it was my abortion jokes. They
Yeah.
did not. They were like, oh fuck no.
I'm not the edgiest comedian, like the most.
No, you got it. And that's why you're gonna see a lot of shows. Like you notice you're getting booked more than Lauren. Lauren does more edgier stuff because, and I like the
It's
edgier stuff.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's my kind of
Yeah.
comedy. Like, and some reason, Lauren kills at the word up so much better. I don't know why. I don't know what the comfort of what she has. Why her timing is so much different at these different places. But when she does the shit at the word up, like her comedy, that crowd really gets her comedy and really. And yeah, she kills it there usually. Like,
she's really
kills it.
dry and deadpan, and that's like my favorite comedy to watch. I think she's really awesome.
Yeah, like Jesselnick, Tosh, I really like
Yeah.
On the Edge. Like my favorite shit is when Tosh is like, yeah, I'm one day gonna say the wrong thing, and it's gonna be like, oh, he thought he could say that, and my career is gonna be over. He's like, but until then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess one of my favorite comedians is Nate Bargatze. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, on his podcast, he was talking about how, like, he's a clean comedian, and I'm not like I'm a clean, like, I'm not really intense about I have to be clean, but
It's best to know to be able to write clean first, because you can always make something
that's
dirty.
what I'm trying to, like, because I've seen, like, if I curse a little bit or something, I'm like, oh, like, that gets like people, like, I get that
Yeah, you'll be able to
works.
use that too as a clean comic.
Yeah, but I think, like, he was saying, like, challenge yourself to write clean first, and if you can get laughs for that, then you can, like, add that in. So for me, it's almost more of, like, a challenging myself thing than, like, I'm not, like, really intense about clean comedy or something.
Yeah, no, it is.
But some people are.
Yeah, I did about a month ago for Big Daddy's open mic. I was hosting, and I did just a little 10-minute set, and he asked the guy that runs it, Jeremy Guinea, he's like, can you do clean comedy? I was like, I'll do clean 10 minutes. So I got maybe 15 solid minutes of clean material. It's basically bad dad jokes. Like, that's what clean comedy is to me, though. Like, anytime I hear clean comedy, it's just dad jokks to me. And so what I think of them, and clean dad jokes at that, you know? But one thing that I thought was one of the best challenges I've ever heard or whatever from a comic is try to write a funny knock-knock joke. It's like one of the hardest things to do. That hasn't been done already.
Yeah.
Like, I've come real close with my Jehovah's Witness one, where it's like, good buddy wants to be a comic, and he's a Jehovah's Witness. Only problem is all he writes is knock-knock jokes.
That's good.
And y'all want to hear one? And they're like, yeah, knock-knock. And he's like, who's there? I was like, shh, I just told you it's the Jehovah's Witness. And that's like the best I've gotten so far. And I try sometimes. Some nights I'm just like, I'm gonna write a good joke. Knock, knock. Never get past knock knock. Like,
Yeah.
It's hard, but clean comedy is where the money's at if you want to get booked and make money. Money isn't the thing for me when it came to comedy. I have my own company. I do construction, and I think more comedians need to have a better, solid career, or at least a trade that they do, because some of the comics, man, that just don't have a job or a real job and shit, and they're like, hey, can I get a ride, or I need to go here. You try to book them, or you try to get them on the podcast or something like that, and it's like, how are you going to be a comic without any money? I get it, the poor artist, like, oh, you don't have to be poor. Like, artists they didn't have to be poor. They chose to get drunk all day and then do a little fucking painting at night when they got drunk. It's like, you can go to work. Like, I do it regularly.
Yeah.
I'm up in the morning, I go to work, I do my 8 to 10 hours. It's like, and then I can go to comedy. I'm worn out at the end of the night, but that's what they make meth for.
I was talking to Rob Durham because, like, being a teacher, school starts at 7 a.m. And so I'm like, how did you, like, be a teacher and also be a comedian? Because that's such a late night thing versus, like, and he was like, I don't know, just make your open mics worth it. And I was like, okay. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I'll just be exhausted, which is fine. Like, for me, it's not, I haven't made that much money in comedy that I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm going to make a living off this.
It's just like, nice extra.
It's just kind of like fun and exciting. I'm like so new to it that I'm like, oh my gosh, you're giving me money for this?
I framed my first $20 bill that I got. I signed it and framed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I spent it like a month later. But yeah, it's exciting. But that's what actually, when I started making the money out of it, I was like, I can make money doing this too. Mm-hmm. Like, shit, for just something I want to do as a hobby. I was like, you can't beat that. Like, that's something I asked Nick Lacer. I was like, what is making it as a comic to you? He's like, if I can just replace my income that I'm making now, which is almost minimum wage, I've made it. That's all I need to do. If I can make that as a comedian full time, that's what I would do. And I was like, some people's making it for some people is different. Some people need the fame, the lights, they need to be able to fill an arena one day. That's their vision. I don't. Yeah. I just don't want to swing a hammer any longer, and I'm more of a night person. In all honesty, like, I hate getting up in the morning early. But I'm up by 4, 5, 6 sometimes. I mean, 6 lately just because of the weather. But yeah, summertime it's like 4:30. I'm up. 5:30 I'm out the door. 6:30 I'm on the job site with my tool belt on. And then maybe, hopefully, by 4:30, I can get off and be back home to shower and go to the open mic that's an hour away, wherever from here. But it's worth it for the most part. I like the money. The money part really just makes it's like, okay, well, this will cover that. But most of the time, like the show I got booed, I didn't even charge him. Like, he tried to give me like $150. I was like, no, I'm not taking the money for this show. I was like, I sucked. Like, I don't even feel like I deserved it. I don't want your money.
Yeah.
I was like, I should be paying you, bitch. I was like, just book me again so I can prove, like, because I killed the show before. Like, I killed it, but he wasn't there. He had caught COVID. So I filled in and headlined with these other 2 comics, and I murdered it. It was a great show. Everyone, told Tim how great I did. They'd love to have you back. So I went into this next show like, I know. Watch. Don't watch. like it got bad. Like, I stopped. I didn't finish my set. Bless you. Like, I didn't even finish my set. I just, I was like 15 minutes in, and I was like, fuck this. They were so drunk and getting so belligerent at that point to where I had tried to, like, crowd work, and they were talking over each other. I couldn't talk to a single person. I got to the point, I knew they were rednecks. I was like, hey, could you tell your boyfriend to shut his mouth so I could actually hear what you're trying to say out of your dick sucker? And at that point, I seen the eyes. I was like, I'm like 100 miles away from home. Like, I don't have my gun. Because my car got stolen at back door.
I just heard about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, they got me on Memorial Day or Labor Day, one of those weekends. Yeah, went out. So it was like a bad Ashton Kutcher movie. God. Me and Ron Finger, I just finished my set, went out and was in my car, hit a bowl, and was putting my stuff up. Went back inside to get my tripod that I think Hoovy or somebody was using. And Ron Finger was standing at the door drinking a beer. We walked inside, walked back out, and car's gone.
That's nuts.
I was like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, where's your car?" I was like, "I don't know, dude. Where's my car?" Like, it's sucked. But I ended up finding it. I found it. I activated the OnStar and tracked it down. And they had just fucked it up a little bit. I say they did.
Yeah, it was them.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I pay enough in insurance, which I've fought with them, like, and the mechanic shop. Like, it is ridiculous to deal with an insurance company nowadays. Like, I don't even get it. Like, I broke it down to, I was like, my house is bundled with you, my cars, my motorcycles, everything. Like, I'm about to leave, because I couldn't get a hold of no one. I just started going down the directory online of like board members of the shareholders and shit. I was like, y'all think I don't know? It's not that hard to pull up some fucking Q12 filings and find out who's these board members. I'm calling motherfuckers in New York and shit.
Yeah.
Like, pissed. But eventually, they got me straight to where that Missouri division head met me out to look at my car. I was like, I want this fixed. I want this fixed. I know that wasn't them, but I still want it fixed. Because I spend too much money. Like, they charge us a lot. I don't even have health insurance because of how much that shit costs. It cost me like 14 grand, damn near, probably a year. If I wanted to pay for it all without an employer, like through just buy it myself, like 14 grand. And then they send me a $1,200 bill for a rolled ankle.
Yeah.
You got me. You got me. I'm not paying that no more. I'll let the taxpayer pay it. No, I'm kidding. I don't hardly ever go to the hospital. That's one I can't stay in the hospital. I don't like them at all.
I don't know if anyone like loves the hospital.
Yeah, like I didn't even go see my pops in the hospital. I can't do it. I can't. I don't want to see him that way. For one, I wanted to remember him the way I remember. You know, I don't want to see the man that I've seen as the big 6'3" black Golden Glove boxer man. As this little, cancer has completely brought him down to 110 pounds. Like, I don't want to see that. Like I don't want to as a remembering thing, and I don't know how it'll probably affect me one day. But I did a joke about it like the night of. I was at the back door like 2
I think
nights.
I was there.
Yeah. It went well.
It did. We were all kind of like,
This is a little dark. This is actually
we were like, this is recent.
I was wondering how I feel about that.
That's what you thought.
Not good.
And we were like, okay.
But that's the way in my mind, that's what a comic does to get over something, is to laugh about it. Because I laugh about a lot of horrible things. A lot of things I shouldn't laugh about. I lost my joke book, these little things that I carry around with me, on a job site once in like a really rich area over the weekend. They found it. I got taken off of that job site. I mean, there's shit in here of like concentration camps with Jews and like just working stuff out, like pedophile shit. I'm like, oh my God. First thing they open up in the page is like a joke about, is it domestic? I mean, is it domestic abuse if it happens outside of the country, like in Mexico? Is it imported? And it was like, just horrible shit. It's not what I would actually say. It's just an idea that I jot down. It's the worst of the worst ideas, though. And that's what they get. So, yeah.
I feel like I'm working on finding or doing material about things that, like, are really, like, serious to me. I don't know if that, like, I feel like I was listening to a podcast with Pete Holmes and Mike Birbiglia, and they were saying, like, do art about the stuff that, like, haunts you. Which is probably so deep, but I was like, I kind of like that, and I don't feel like my comedy's like about anything that really haunts me. Yeah,
the stuff that makes you uncomfortable is going to be the best material. The stuff that either you're embarrassed about, that's the best material from what I've learned. If you're embarrassed about it and don't want it to be known, make it known. Like,
that's my masturbation accountability partner joke. I don't know if you've heard that one. I think, but that one's like. I mean, it goes well every time. And every time I'm like, God damn, I don't want to do this joke. Like, I just want to do it and people not laugh and be like, great, it's off the list. But I did a show recently and my great aunt and uncle came. And I was talking to my friend. I was like, guess I'm not doing my masturbation joke now. And she hosted the show. So she got up on stage and she was like, Emily Zell's aunt and uncle are here, so she told me she's not going to do her masturbation joke. And I was like, okay, well now I have to do it.
And they loved it, didn't they?
They thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's like the cleanest masturbation joke you could think of. It's about having a masturbation accountability partner to not masturbate. So.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
It is. Well, I didn't even know it was funny.
Many guys right now are like,
I told my friend, I was like, yeah, I recently broke up with my masturbation accountability partner. And she was like, have you never said that on stage? And I was like, that's just my life, Lisa. Like, I was like, is that funny?
It's like, yeah, like it's not something girls talk about very often, about their masturbation, like, life. Like, that's a very...
And we didn't really talk about it. We just said, like,
Right.
don't do it.
Yeah.
It was just like, are you going to do it? And we were like, I'm going to try not to. It was like, cool.
But a female talking about masturbating makes everyone's mind run. And that's what you want. You want them thinking of everything else besides what you're going to say to get them to go to mislead them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, and it's that, and then you're also going to get all the pervy guys that are like, oh, she's talking about masturbation. Like, and that's guys. Like, that's a male for you. Like, it doesn't even have to make any sense. She said masturbation. Like, but us talking about masturbation, they're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did that in his car before he came in here.
And we've heard every other guy talk about it.
Yeah. That's not one I don't think I have any masturbation jokes. No.
I mean, you have a joke about porn.
Yes, no, I have I have 5 minutes out about my porn shit that I've been working. That's the one I've recently been working on, actually.
Yeah.
All that. It's just I haven't been able to really find the ending. The main
Your ending, I think, is, I don't know if you want me to say it. Like the like, so I was door dashing the other day.
Yeah.
I think that's good. It's a good ending.
It is. It's just I think there's something else there that I'm missing, and I just haven't been able to find that angle on it yet. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. Eventually it'll come to me. Like what joke did I have for the longest time that I just didn't? There's like still jokes that I use. The married for anal that I do.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Like that one. Like I've even added the like at the very end when I talk about it and can't return the strap on. It's like, but it's black because we're not racist. Like it's just an extra little boom to get the extra laugh for the laughs per minute or whatever. Which I don't go off of that anymore because I look at it like this. Like everyone loves a great storyteller. So if you can really master the art of telling a story and keeping people interested and have a big fucking punch at the line at the end, you don't need them laughing the whole time if you can keep them interested and intrigued in what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can punch that up a little bit, get people to ha ha ha. But like if you've actually got something to say, like you're stuff that you're passionate about or serious about, yeah, that's the way to go, is to be a great storyteller, to get people to want to listen. Which is going to be your job as an English teacher.
Oh, yeah.
I hated English, but my
Really?
English teacher was so hot. So hot. Well, the one that I remember, two of them actually, Miss Heineken and Miss Toko Sandifer. Like, I thought I had a chance with Miss Sandifer. Like, if she's out there, Toko Food Corporation was a family, like, shipping a food delivery service out here in St. Louis. And every time I see those trucks, I'm like... Could have had her. She was like 22. I was like 16, 17, basketball player, jock and everything.
You're like about the same.
Yeah, like she's in my league. Totally out of. She had a rock on her finger, like her husband had, or whatever. She went to Hawaii and all that and shit. I was like, I could still get it. But she was really nice to me.
Why didn't you like English?
I wasn't. I still don't like English just because I'm not. I'm good. I was always good with writing, creative writing.
Yeah.
Great with. I can do that. But don't ask me to break this sentence down. Don't grade me on. Be like, all right, show me the pronouns, the verbs, the adverbs, the homonyms, the homonyms, this and that. It's like, I don't fucking know. I was like, I said this sentence. It makes sense in my head. It's like, and I'm the type which a lot of comedians have issues with is their writing. The way they write is different than the way they talk. I've always been the way that if it's the way I say it is the way I'm gonna write it, and like so I can literally read something right off the paper the way I'm usually gonna say it, and that's something that some people don't. I'll read like Mike Ratcliffe's jokes. It's like this isn't you don't say it like this at all. Like, it's like, why don't you write it how you're actually gonna say it? Like perform it in your head. Just write down the performance. It's how it is for me. But everyone's different, I guess. I don't understand that. Maybe you do as an English teacher.
Like writing, like my writing voice is different than my speaking voice?
Or just your written, let's say you're going to write a letter to a parent, and the same thing that you put in that letter, you would say in person. Would be two different, like, structures and different words and different ways of saying them.
It's kind of different. That's a good question. I think
it's more proper when I guess, especially as an English teacher, would write it probably more formal and proper. I'm not putting periods. I'm not putting capitalization. I'm not putting commas. I like my shit aerodynamic. It's going to be a paragraph, no periods.
And then, like, when I'm texting, I'm not like one of those psychos that was like period, capital letter. Like, I'm not super intense. But I think when if I'm trying to write jokes on like a Google Doc, I have that problem where I kind of feel like I'm writing an essay. Yeah. And so it's just different. But that's something that I think is really cool. Like, this is kind of nerdy, but what I think is cool about English teaching is that, you can get all into the nitty gritty, or you can be a lot more like descriptive than prescriptive and be like, you speak English already, so trust yourself and write. Like, however you say it is how you say it. And that is worth being on paper. Yeah,
as long as you can say it.
You can be understood. That's the point. Yeah. If you're going to get better at writing, it's to be understood clearly.
I've always heard that English is one of the hardest to learn when you already speak English, because we speak such slang and we use such proper English. Like, that's what you had an English teacher also named Mr. Nash in high school. He was like, he's the coolest guy. Like, during one period, like he was in movies. He was in a movie, I think the Mel Gibson movie with the Scottish.
Braveheart?
Yeah, one of those. He would wear his kilton and shit, and he did a bunch of other movies. So that's how he got into English and literature, and really cool. But I still hated it. Yeah, I was really bad with it. I didn't mind if it was just a free writing and cool. I could write about what I'm interested in. But don't give me a topic. Don't give me
some. Don't force it for me to say something.
Yeah, that's like homework and. Me, if I understand it, it's really gonna piss me off if I got to do it over and over again. Like, same thing with work, but like I'm really a monkey see, monkey do kind of guy. Like I can learn it, just do it. I'll watch you, I'll shadow you for a couple of minutes, and once you do it a few times, I can do it. English is not the same. English is not the same. But what school are you teaching at?
I'm at Parkway West.
I think that's the one Jules went to.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense if she's from Chesterfield.
Yeah. Her and my buddy Matt, which is the doctor I was telling you about. I know a lot of guys. I sold a lot of coke to those guys back in the day. That was I hung out with a lot of the rich kids, but I was the poor kid that went to Fox High School. Yeah. Damn poor kids that stink up the place. No, I did live in a really bad. Have you ever heard of Shangri-La? No, cool. There's a comedian recently. What's his name? JoJo Jackson or JJ Jackson. He talks about
what a sweet man.
Yeah, he's talking about the trailer park joke that he does, and he talks about this trailer park called Shangri-La. That's where my mom still lives. Okay. Been there for like 30 years. We've seen every gang come and go. It's so bad that they have Jefferson County Sheriffs, St. Louis County, and the Highway Patrol all allowed to come into the neighborhood. And it's considered a private road. So they're not supposed to be, but it's that bad. Yeah. I remember as a kid watching meth was at its peak out here. And they would bust these apartment buildings, and they'd have 30 of them zip tied and set up on the curb as I'm playing basketball as a kid. And they're all tweaking. I just was trying to get some sugar. I don't know what they were doing. You were holding the anhydrous tank, dog. So what is are you starting to see? as far as English teaching, is that like your thing? Like you want to be a teacher, or is it like something else you want to do as a writer? Do you want to be an author, or isn't that something like?
That's a good question. Honestly, English teaching was always my backup.
Yeah.
I'm doing job interviews right now, so I hope no one hope no one saw that. It's my passion and dream. But I actually I was very churchy pretty recently. I feel like you can tell. But
I get that. Yeah, a little bit.
you kind of tell.
Yeah, kind of. I've
Like my whole life.
Yeah. You girls are very mischievous and I've dated one. I actually went to church once or twice.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a Catholic one, like straight Catholic. Like get on my knees, stand up, do this, do that. And I was like, oh fuck this. But the sweetest girl in public. Yeah, you girls are. Your girls got two sides. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And I wanted to work at a church. That was the real dream. And I wanted to be a pastor, but in my denomination, women can't be pastors. So I was kind of like, well, I'm screwed.
What?
So not in some Christian denominations, women can't do everything.
Man, you Christians are so segregated.
I know.
Like you guys are literally the reason we have segregation. It went from Catholicism, and they were like, well, we want our own thing, and we think it happened a little different. And then that group, another guy was like, no, I have a bigger dick. I think it went this way. 100%. And then it's like, now you got Baptist, Presbyterian, you got this, you got that. And then you got these Jehovah Witness cult guys that come in. And it's like, oh my God. Can't y'all all just...
Yeah, no.
I think the worst is the West Baptist Borough.
Absolutely, yeah.
We protested them once. It was pretty fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, all the bikers came up because they were protesting. So this biker gang came up, and when I had a bike, they just revved their engines and smoked them out and burnt out their tires on the big crowd of them. So it was just, they couldn't breathe, and it was just real loud. So they dispersed. But they were... boycotting or protesting gay marriage or I think it was a cake place wouldn't make a couple of cake because they were.
Oh yeah.
It was stupid shit like that.
It's always dumb.
I was like, I'll make the cake. Just fucking stop putting it on the news 24/7. I want some good news. When's the last time you heard some good news? I've got some applause waiting. Nothing but bad news lately.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Ridiculous.
But that's always, I always wanted to work at a church. So then I was like, I guess I'll study to be an English teacher in case that doesn't work out. And I'm I really like English teaching. I'm not I don't think it's my life's calling or whatever, but.
So does English teaching, so do you have the training to be able to properly write a book? Or
Yeah.
is that a different class?
I've written...
She's like, oh, I've got 2 published on Amazon right now.
I have articles and poems published, but
nice.
I've started a book once, but I could do it if I just was patient
I'm
enough.
pretty sure you could. I had a comedian on here that's got 2 of them on Amazon right now. So I know you could do it. He's intelligent and smart, but you're not expecting this guy to have a book out. And if you read it... I haven't read the second one, but the first one was about my size. It was a smaller book, and it was very scattered. It wasn't very organized very well. I've always thought it'd be cool to write a book. I've got a great story up here.
Yeah.
It's my pictures. I have them right up here, but when hand touches canvas, I get Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I'm just I can't ever, I don't know, really say what I'm trying to say or put it all in words that it's one of those things. It's just I've got some stories. I've lived some life that not the most don't. By the time I was 28, I had lived more life than most people lived twice. I was homeless, lived in a tent on the beach for years. I was on the run from the police I did all kinds of stupid shit and lived a lot of things and experienced a lot of things. So I'm really shocked I ended up here. I really thought this was a prison. That's where I thought this was going, this life of mine. But then I realized when my first time going in, I was like, I don't like this. This isn't fun. I'm pretty. Like, I don't want to be here. So, yeah, I got out of there and I moved here to St. Louis. I went to jail like 3 weeks later.
Nice.
I didn't
You just
do
wanted
it.
to see if that jail was any different.
Oh,
You
yeah,
might be
I'm a
interested.
firm believer you got to check out your local jail every time you go. No, I charges were dropped eventually. I didn't assault the officer first. And I had it on camera. So I didn't get. Luckily, they gave me my bail money back because all that Mike Brown shit was going on, and they're like, "We
Yeah.
don't want any more bad press," because they wrote it up completely wrong in the report. And they didn't know I had my phone recording the whole time. So my lawyer went up there and was like, "As a man, an officer, a veteran, is that your word that you wrote in that report?" And the guy said, "Yeah." He's like, "So as a man, as a St. Louis County or city police, well, you know what? That's not really that good. We've seen the news lately. Your word's not much." And he's like, he goes in, and the judge says something to him about being disrespectful. So he walks over to the district attorney, and she puts the thumb drive into her computer right there. And about 2 minutes in, she shuts her laptop. She tells him to stay until the end, until everybody else is gone. And she writes me basically a refund for my my bail money, and I've never been given bail money back, even when I was innocent. Like, they never gave me that shit back.
Yeah.
They were like, "No, you bailed out. That's the cost." So yeah, but luckily I got out of that one because did not want jail, and I had just met my wife at the time, and she didn't know how to react. Like, I was fine with it. It was a normal thing at that time. Like, I called her. I was like, "Look, if you can come get me, that's cool. They won't let me change the channel here. They're being little bitches." Like, and they had thrown me into the solitary confinement because of my hair. It had it had beads and jewels in it, and they're like, "It could be a weapon." I was like, "It's a shell." I was like, "What am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna do a 9/11 in the jail, like, with a shell? Come on, dog." I was like, I remember ripping it out of my head. I was like, "Give me my phone call. I've got another job to be at."
Yeah.
Like, unlike y'all. And I remember almost not getting let out because the bitch was sitting there that's supposed to come and get me and process me out is having like a conversation for 30 minutes while holding my paperwork to process me out. And I'm like, "Yo, I need to go. I don't got time for you to be having. You can call her when you're off." I was like, "Get her number. Call her later." I was like, "Do your job." And she's like, "Well, I'm not the one that broke the law." I was like, "Neither did I, bitch." And it just, yeah. I've learned, though. I've learned. I haven't gotten in any trouble in a while, in years. Years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just took a job as the detention supervisor in my school. I feel like that's as close as I'm ever going to get to jail.
You're gonna be. You have a mean, like, you have a mom look too for these kids, don't you? To where they're like, "I'm not fucking with her." Like,
Here's the thing. I understand why you would think that, but I definitely don't. This girl on Friday said, while I was teaching, just yelled, "Shut up, nobody cares." And I just started cracking up. I was like, that is hilarious.
like, "You gonna care after class, bitch? Let me catch you in the parking lot. Just wait." That's why I couldn't be. I was like, "Oh, no one cares? No one cares? All right. Well, close your books. Can I see your textbook?" And then I'm gonna beat her with it because I know they don't leave marks.
No, I just legitimately think it's funny. Like, that's my problem. Is like, the other day she called me a loser, and I was like, I am a loser. That was good. You
I'm
got
teaching.
me.
I teach a bunch of losers too. So
I
loser
feel
does.
like it's gonna make me better at crowd work because I have to just talk to all these kids.
And you're gonna hear the jokes as they're being created. You're gonna be able to trade.
Yeah.
Like, you have material. That's Rob. Every set he does, he probably has a new 5-10 minutes worth of materials that he's like. I can only imagine. Kids are disrespectful. I noticed that when I was in school. I remember watching kids still, like, they were the bad kids, like, that went to alternative school and everything, but they would fight. Like, you'd see them fighting a teacher. Like, they'd be throwing hands with a teacher. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's an adult still. Like, it was that. And ever since, I think my generation, after that, it's just gone, like, disrespect. Like, the respect that they think they deserve and the respect that they give, it just doesn't match up.
Yeah.
Like, from what I see nowadays, and they're like, because they're never wrong. Like, my parents, you call and tell them, "Hey, this happened. Brad got hurt, and they're like, what did he do? What did he do? He probably deserved it. He probably deserved it. And like, no, it wasn't even. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. He's a little badass. Like, it was automatically my fault.
Yeah.
Today, no, never their fault. It's like, it never would have been. I didn't raise him like that. Yes, you did. Like, what was it? The kid, the transgender kid raping the little girl in the school not too long ago. Did you hear about that? And the dad went to the school tried to cover it up. The dad went to the school board meeting and announced and started talking about it. And then they had him arrested and thrown into jail. And then the FBI labeled him as a terrorist because the school was like, that never happened. It never happened. But the police report that was taken says it did. And then court and the judge found the kid guilty. And he did it a week after he got transferred to another school.
Damn.
And I was like, just keep the fucking bathrooms the way they've been. I was like, that's the end of it all. I was like, I get it. Or make the baby changing bathroom. That's the one I always use anyways. You got more room. You can sit there. You can have a bowl of cereal. You know, like the whole 9 yards.
You have a whole table for whatever.
No, yeah, you just turn around on the toilet the opposite way.
Yeah.
You know, you got it right there.
Oh, I was like,
Just kidding.
I was like, oh, that's one way to do it.
Do it, yeah. No, I that's the bathroom I always try to use, especially when I was hooking up with a chick, like, because it had a lock on the door, it had the baby changing table that you could flop down and break, like, it was perfect. Like, our school wasn't smart when it came to that shit. Like, there was kids fucking into my school, because I was one of them. Like, that was my thing. Like, I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't smoke pot. I played sports, and girls, that's always been my downfall. You girls have always gotten me in trouble. It's like real bad. Like, it wasn't until I was probably like 25, 26. I was like, everything I've done, every law I've broken, everything I've done to make money in the wrong way is just because of a girl. Like, I just wanted a girl. And I had to check that real quick. Because I was married. It wasn't cool.
Yeah.
For a long time until she got bored. She's like, nothing new's happening. I was like, you're right. It's not getting any bigger. Go ahead. Go get you some, girl. Like, just don't bring him back to my house. Like,
Yeah.
if I come home and he's in my bed, somebody, whoever he is, it's a done deal. This is my house. But what they do out there, whatever.
Yeah.
I have friends that like search their wives' phones and shit. Like, I'm like, how? Why? You go looking for something to get mad at, you can find it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
I was like, if you just let them do it, then you got nothing to be mad about. It's like, nothing to be mad about.
You just got to choose your attitude.
Yeah. Anytime she tells me she's going, I was like, just wear a condom, please. Just wear a rubber in case we end up having sex this year. Like, so it is what it is. I'm glad that that it's turning more to that, like, especially these younger kids. Like, they're just fucking everything and anything. Like, I learned a new term. It's they don't they just be fucking any gender, any 57 of them, I guess. Like,
Oh, pansexual?
yep, that's what I'm a pansexual. I'm like, flapjacks? Like, are you into pancakes? Is that a kink? I'm like, I'm not understanding, because I had Pat on here. I know what an asexual is now. They've hacked the Matrix. All right, they won the game because that's not fair.
Honestly.
Like, you know where I'd be at in life if it wasn't for sex. Like, if I had no interest in sex whatsoever. You'd be voting for me in some district. They'd be like, that's the guy I want as my representative. Definitely. But no, you girls in y'all's sweet little boxes are just like, can't check that off without getting in trouble and ruining your life. It's not
What can I say?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not y'all's fault. Guys are just bad, and I know it because I have 2 nephews that are like 16, and I'm really seeing it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, man, you guys just like me. Like, I get it now. Now that I'm seeing it from afar, it's like, yeah, we should be taught a little better, I feel. Like, parents my parents didn't talk. They didn't. My mom was like, if you're having sex, just let me know. We'll get you condoms. That was kind of like the only.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the only talk. She scared the death out of me of having kids. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I had one pregnancy scare when I was like 15, and she's like, "You've ruined your life. You'll always be just a broke bum, blah blah blah. You'll never have anything because you'll have to give everything to your kid, and you'll never get a good job." And I was like, she put the fear of God in me when it came to that with like having a kid. Luckily, she wasn't pregnant after the abortion, but no kidding. Never had an abortion that I'm aware of. Yeah. Like, I don't,
You've never personally gotten one.
Well,
no.
It was, no. I lived in an area, the beach, that a lot of tourists came every week, a new group of tourists, and I was a teenage surfer, beach bum guy that's all I wanted to do was surf and talk to girls. That was like the game. That was my whole summer. Quit my job, sold drugs, and sat on the beach all day. And I'd be somewhere else if it wasn't for you.
For me specifically.
No, actually, Emily's a really good girl. She was Christian-like at one time, she says. But she's like, they didn't give me the job, so fuck them. They're sexist. That is sexist. Like that is the definition.
Incredibly sexist.
You can't hold a position because you're a woman. I don't know. Are you still pretty religious? Still have your faith?
So right now I go to a church that meets in a bar, so it's very chill. We're very low key. The first time I had communion at that church, I like hit the table and then took it like a shot, and then I was like, okay, we are in a bar. Like, I'm not crazy.
That's good. That's funny. I would have laughed.
I was like, but yeah, I would say like I'm trying to figure that out. I would say like this is kind of a buzzword in like certain circles, but like I would say I'm like deconstructing Christianity and just like trying to figure out like, okay, how can I like not throw the baby out with the bathwater? Like, what are some spiritual practices that I want to keep?
Yeah. No, I'm not religious as far as I don't have faith in some higher. I do believe there's something out there, whether it's aliens, whatever it is, there's a smarter, more intelligent being out there than us. And I'm really into science for some reason, so I always get all the new articles and the science magazines and the YouTube channels and everything of the new shit. And we could, simulation, the thing about that, but back to DMT. I did DMT. I realized that there's something else out there. Yeah. There really is. It's like it took me to a whole nother, because I had just learned about my pops' cancer. Death scares the hell out of me. It scares me. Like, I do not like thinking about it, but for some reason my mind is always brought back to that. Like, I'd be playing with my dog and I'm like, man, he's getting old, and it's just one of those things that it scares me, and it really weighs on my mind a lot. And I know I'm spiritual. Like, I don't feel I need the Bible to be what I think every human should be. But then again, I've met some people that did need Jesus and need it, and if it wasn't for religion, they would be in a really bad place doing really bad things. Like my Uncle Eddie, Grandpa Paul Eddie, my grandma, something like that. I don't know. I think he's my Grandpa Eddie, step grandpa or something like that. He was like heroin addict, like met my grandmother as a bum, and she got him off the street and turned him around, made him find God, or introduced him to God, whatever they say. And he if it wasn't for that, he'd still be shooting heroin. Yeah. Like, there's definitely people out there that need that. I just never really understood one of them, because I never liked how they take responsibility for everything that's good. Anything and everything that happens that's good. And my grandmother's like strict. Like, she was the type for a while, it was like dinosaurs are fake. Like, one of those. And
I could go into I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about dinosaurs.
I saw a TikTok not too long ago. I was like, motherfucker. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going down that rabbit hole tonight.
If you actually, I can't believe I'm talking about this right now, but if you actually look at how many, like, I'm not saying there weren't dinosaurs. I'm saying we seem pretty confident that we put the bones together right, and that we know if they have feathers or whatever. Like, you don't know that shit.
Right? Yeah.
That's
No, I just
all
learned that.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I just learned the feather thing, that they were birds and not lizards, from my wife's nephew. Like, he's like, they weren't lizards, they were actually feathered, they were more like birds. I was like,
How does he know?
I was like, no, they fuck off, they're lizards, dude. Haven't you seen Land Before Time? Like, come on. And yeah, no, they were birds. I was proven wrong. It was like a YouTube heard the shit on my phone. I'm watching a show later, and they're like, hey, dumbass.
Yeah.
We think they were birds now.
Well, and like some of this, I feel like we're okay with conspiracy theories.
Oh, absolutely. I've got, yeah. I know. Yeah.
Like some of the species are like, they find like one piece of like shoulder bone, and then they're like, new species. This is exactly what it was and what it ate.
Yeah, that doesn't
like,
make sense.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
And you say like, there's so like this, we know this and we know this and we know this. I'm not like an anti-dinosaur person. Don't hear that. I'm just like, you're kind of arrogant to think this is exactly what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Just like, have you ever heard of Graham Hancock?
No.
Okay, he's a big reason why I actually ever watched the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, is because he had this guy on there. He's an author, and like, he's really into. The theory is that we had an advanced civilization prior that had a mass extinction event, which was during the dry ice period, which was this quick snap cold ice age we had, this little mini ice age thing. Mm-hmm. And they think that it was from basically, if today, right now, we were hit by a large enough meteor or asteroid, just the force from it hitting our atmosphere and gravity alone is going to take down all of our electrical, a big enough one. The force is going to blow the grid. Everything's going to be offline. That's going to kill a lot of people. And we're very tribal, and we're very locked down here. We're going to try to protect ourselves. And the information wouldn't get passed along that we have today. I just heard a quantum physicist video about measuring time. We measure it linear, but nowadays we have so much information that's coming so quickly because of the internet. It doesn't have to go through all of this, all these phases to be able to be printed and then put on its library shelf for the next physicist to grab that. That next physicist has it right then as soon as the other one finishes their experiment. So we're more or less doing like quantum leaps, and it's we would lose so much information that we have today. Like technology, we couldn't rebuild this. Like I can't rebuild these. I couldn't rebuild this microphone. I couldn't tell you how a microphone is made or what the pieces are. And a lot of things are made today that we don't know. Like we have the knowledge of how to build the machine that builds them, but we don't really personally can't make it do it ourselves. And eventually, because we're so tribal, we would not allow new people in to share their information and knowledge. Eventually we'd kind of just degress, as we're dying off from the ice age that's created from this asteroid, and numbers would swindle down. There'd probably be everything would go cold, the oceans freeze, and they would move and shift, and they would go over the land and repulverize land, make new mountains and everything like that. And it would destroy a lot of evidence of us being here, because it would just miles of high, they say 10-mile high ice glaciers went over North America. Well, you have that much ice go over us right now, and this is all just going to be dust over it. And it's I really was into that conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy, it's a theory that there was, because if you look at Göbekli Tepe, it predates, it's a new, not new, but it's I think it's in Turkey, and it predates the Egyptian pyramids by thousands of years. And they haven't even excavated the whole thing. And as they get further, the crazy thing is they have these monoliths that they built on top of, they filled in with dirt, and then built on top of it more monoliths. And then, but as you get deeper and older, the monolith, the more detailed and the more advanced the carvings are, and they're aligned with true north better, and it's like they were digressing, and it's really weird, and they haven't been able to excavate the rest of it because of all the stuff that goes on in Turkey with the Middle East. I mean the wars and the radicals. I guess they had problems with that, but. I think there's something out there we don't know. I think there's some information that's definitely been lost. Like when the Christians burned the Library of Alexandria. Yeah, like when I learned about that, I didn't know that was because that he had a town that was like a coexist area, like a bunch of different religions, and then one politician that was a Christian came in and got voted in, and they like burned down the whole place, which. I don't know. In my conspiracy mind, I'm thinking some group has it. Some group has the knowledge, like the Masons. My grandfather was a Freemason, and I've asked him different questions that he gives answers that you can't like. It's like, you know something, because he was 33rd degree. He was second to chair. That's what all of that is. That's his Freemason stuff, and it says like he's second to front chair. Carolina was really into it, and it's like they were the Knights of Templar. That's what the Knights of Templar turned into, and they were the ones that are guarding the Ark of the Covenant, supposedly.
Oh,
right. But the way my grandfather explained it is the Ark of the Covenant is just information somehow of something, and it's just like it doesn't. I don't know. Somebody they know something. Like that's what I'm always thinking. Like with the Ukraine and Russia shit, something else is going on, and it's everything with. I don't know. I question everything for some reason. Like you could be like 2 + 2 is 4. I'm like, why?
I feel like why you're into conspiracy theories is also why you're really afraid of death, because it's like you feel like there's information that's being withheld from you.
Yes. That was you just nailed it. Like that was my thing as a little kid when I started thinking about death and worrying about it way too young. Like I remember asking my parents when I was a kid, I was like, why were we put here? Like why did this God or whatever give us this life just to be like, well, you're going to die. I want to know what the PS5 does. Like that's what I was thinking as a kid. Like I want to know what else is there going to be after I'm dead. Like there's going to be some cool shit. And that was at first, and then it was like, oh wait a minute, like death is a whole nother level of whole nother level of depth that it really shook me and still does. Like I can't, I always have to force myself, like don't even think about it, stop thinking about it. But it's something you have to come to terms with. Like, and I'm probably one of the worst persons to ever be like, yeah, you need to be able to deal with that, because I don't even know how to deal with it. I just lost my father he's the first person I've really ever lost that was like super close, and I still haven't dealt with it. Like you see movies and the way it's portrayed that people deal with it, it's not how it's affected me. Like no, I'm sure one day I'll just be driving on the road. And all of a sudden I'll start crying like a little bitch and being like, somebody's going to see me and make fun of me because I'm going to have slobber and no. But so what one question I always like to ask, what do your parents do?
Okay, my dad is a math teacher, and my mom she's a recruiter in financial planning.
Okay.
Why do you like to know that?
I've learned usually if I can figure out if your dad was, let's say, a construction worker, and your mom was a waitress, you'd be a different person, obviously, because you're a product of your environment, and just your level of intelligence and being able to hold a conversation, being able to, speak the way you speak is like something. There's a little bit more here. She had something else there that I guess it's just the way you just your, I don't know, energy. I'm not
like essence.
The way you hold yourself. Let's save that. Like it's you can tell you had intelligent parents. Like I asked Mike because I knew his. I was like, "What did you?" I asked. That was the first question. I was like, "What did your parents do?" And I found out one of his mom was like a politician and his dad was like a businessman, I believe. And it's like that makes sense now. I can understand why you are where you are and how you are, and that makes sense. Your dad being a teacher, you're going into teaching. Church was a big part of your life.
My mom also worked at the church for a really long time.
Yeah, Jules' best friend worked at one. I think she still does. Like I think that's what she got her degree, and like she makes good money too. Good money for a church.
Did you hear about the recent thing that they just found in Joel Osteen's church? Joel Osteen, the like big pastor.
They found
guy.
a bunch of money?
Yeah, behind like the toilets.
So they found all that money that they
like a shit ton of cash.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wow, that is crazy that someone broke in and put their money there."
No.
Like he's owning it. Like he's like, "Damn, that is crazy." That
he's like, "I'm going down. We're riding this ride."
Yeah.
We're riding it.
He's like, "Who would do that to us?"
I got flagged on TikTok once. One of my videos, like I got me banned for a week, but then they like reinstated it because it's just, and it was just a video of this kid going, walking up to Joel Osteen with the camera, and he's like, "You know, you're a piece of shit, right?" And Joel's like smiling for it and shit, and it's like, I was like, that's fucked up. It's true. Like all these guys, like Joyce Meyer, I did her property. I did the property, the one that's fenced off. Yeah. Like, and she's not.
She's doing okay.
They're doing great. They're doing really great, but no one around her is doing. That's another reason it turned me off of religion. Every time I would go to church with my grandmother, I'd see the cars and the way that the family of this pastor. I remember it was Pastor Martin, I believe it was, and they just had it all. It was like the mother didn't do anything. All the father was a pastor. It's like, how? It's like I thought the money, like as a little kid, thinking of like the preach. I always thought of like the person that ran the church, whatever, the preacher, the minister, whatever they're called. Usually lived in the church back in the day, like had a little hut attached to the back of the church and everything. Now they have a mansion. They have what's the one guy that's real crazy that's on TV that's got jets, and it's like God needed me to be in a jet, and it's like, oh wow, that it's
he
just
told you that?
Yeah, that's, and he's on
never
cameras.
told me that.
Yeah. And what is the other one? They're hypocrites, just like John Kerry, the green guy that's all about climate change. Flies his private jet everywhere.
Yeah.
And when he's asked about it, he's like, "Well, I've got to maintain my presence." It's like, oh, you don't care about the climate. It's just like everybody that has the vaccine and the argument. It's like, you don't care about people getting the vaccine. You just like the clout that it's bringing you on this social platform. That's all it is. Because you're getting a bunch of clicks and a bunch of likes. Like on TikTok, you go through that and they're like, they have the debate me thing or this or that. And it's like, I'm not going to debate you.
Yeah.
I'm going to troll the fuck out of you. Because I'm just smart enough to be able to really catch them and catch them up and get them to stumble and stuff. Usually they mute me. I guess they can do that now. They can like kick you out. But I get them good. Like there's this one guy named Tommy that's always on there. And that's all he does is TikTok lives. And that's, I guess, how he makes his money. But I always have to change my picture and my name up and everything. But when he finally accepts me, it's always a big smile. I'm like, "What's up, buddy?" And he's like, "I made you look like an idiot last time." I was like, "That's not hard, but you looked like one too. How does that make you feel?" I was like, "You look like an idiot arguing an idiot right now." Yeah. And anytime he tries to make like a jab at me, I always agree with him. I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right. Like, Mom's pretty slutty." Yeah, and they just can't stand it. What was it? The last one is he said all straight men are beta males, and I was like, I really didn't understand this. I don't understand this whole beta alpha male thing.
Yeah,
like I don't get it. Like, what is it? Like I guess the alpha male's the Billy Bad, the guy that the like bully. That's
so no.
And so I asked him, I was like, what is a beta? Like, what do you mean? Like the fish? And I'm just like fucking like Bravo, Alpha Bravo thing? Like, what is it? and they were just getting so pissed that like, because that's all they wanted to have, this deep conversation and debate and try to gotcha moment. And it's like, you're not gonna get me. I get myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what the fuck? We got a ladybug.
Is that a ladybug?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know how they get in here. There's one part of the year that they get really bad, and I don't know why. Like, they're great for weed plants, so I should grow a lot of those probably. Which I used to, but I can't now.
Really?
Yeah, they have the cops have the permit. Well, they have my address, so they know that like they can come and check to see if I was working still for proper cannabis facility growing for them, and then they came here and found cannabis growing. Yeah, it's legal.
Okay.
Yeah, unless I have a whole nother license for residential, and I don't even have my med card. I can't even go and buy pot. I can grow it for the state. I just can't buy it. I can manufacture it. I can do all the things. I can extract it. I can make edibles. All the licenses needed for that, but I can't buy it. I can't use the product, and that's because I'm lazy. And I was like, I'm not spending $100. I refuse to. I've been in the weed game since I was 17. I'm not paying the state any more money. I paid them the money just to be able to grow it. I'm not paying any more. And they took my fingerprints. It's like, y'all have these. Do I need to go in? And the lady's like, we need a fresh set. And I was like, how fresh? Like,
nothing has changed on the fingerprints.
yeah, I was like, because these come for free.
Yeah.
If I break a law, like, why do I have to pay $100 to get my fingerprints? She didn't think it was as funny though. So, So what is what's your big plan for, like, are you gonna do the schooling thing? Like, are you gonna stay at the Parkway? Or do you have like travel plans? Are you a Missouri girl and stay in Missouri girl?
I'm not like a Missouri girl, but I'm just I don't care for change girl.
Okay.
I'm not a big traveler. I'm like, why, if I could be in my bed, why am I gonna live out of a suitcase?
Yeah,
I'm like a 90-year-old woman when it comes to travel. I'm like, this doesn't matter.
That bed though, being in that is what gets you a masturbation coach.
That's a good point.
You just walked on the beach where you can't masturbate.
But yeah, I'm applying for jobs right now, so finding a teaching job, and maybe in the summer, like traveling a little bit. But
yeah, see, y'all do have. I dated a girl. Both her parents were teachers, and they lived in Virginia, but they had a house in the Outer Banks where I lived, and during the summer, there was a beach cottage that they had for the summer, and it was so cool that I realized, like, I don't know why I never thought of it. I was like, oh shit, teachers get off school during the summertime. I was like, that's nice. A pretty sweet deal that they got going on there. And they had to do a lot of extra work. They did like a lot of tutoring and stuff. They made a lot of extra money that way. I don't know if you have looked at that, but that's...
I'm a detention supervisor.
Oh, so that's that extra...
That's how my that extra money.
Nice. And you just get to yell at kids, right? And like punish them. Like,
stand
in the corner on one leg, nose better not leave the wall. That's how I got punished as a kid.
Doing some ACT proctoring, so that's pretty nice. That's really easy.
ACT,
like just watching kids take the ACT, you get like $100 for that.
I did really good on that somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I ask what you got?
I got like a 27 or 28.
Okay, I got a 28.
Yeah,
and I was like the disappointment.
But I didn't study at all, and I took it. But I did a lot. I got a credit. Our school offered a credit for this class. It was ACT prep. All they did was teach you how to take a test, like the correct way to take a test. And if you know nothing about it at all, they still give you like a 60 or something % chance of getting the correct answer. Besides on the writing part, English.
The best part?
I don't know. I'm an audiobook guy.
I am an audiobook gal.
Does it count, though? That's the question.
Fuck all the haters who say that doesn't count. That is ableist for the blind people.
True, but wouldn't it like the Braille feeling? Yeah.
Are you saying like Braille's fine, but audio? No, those people suck if they're saying you should Braille and not audiobook.
Yeah, why do they put Braille on drive-up ATMs? You ever noticed that?
Why do they put Braille on the bathroom signs? Like, I've never, like, that is so disgusting to be like, just like waving
and
around.
There's none in the bathroom, actual bathroom. Like, I've never seen Braille on the toilet handle. Like, they've got to touch the whole. Yeah, I've talked to Kuvi about that a few times when he would come on.
But wait, where did it? Braille. Oh, audiobooks absolutely count. I try to read 52 books a year, so one a week, right?
Yeah, you got me beat.
I'm doing very good on my reading challenge.
I do. I found this app called Headway, and it's like 15 minutes. It's a book, but it's 15 minutes that they break the whole thing down. They just take all the information.
That is cheating.
Yeah, and then I put it at 1.5 speed, and I'm like 7.5 minutes, and I got everything I need. Not really, but it just lets me know if I'm interested in the book, really.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I can take that. But for people who are like, I read this book because I did that.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. Mm-mm.
Audiobooks for sure count. I don't really listen to music because I listen to podcasts or audiobooks.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of music too, but podcasts and stuff. Just because of my job, I have my headphones in most of the time during. So I'm always either listening to. I like podcasts. It's just I'm starting to run out of things. Like even though there's so many of them, there's only so many topics one can talk about.
For sure.
yeah. So and I love finding new ones and stuff. But I'm a quality fucking guy that really likes. It's got to be high quality.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand the. And then the videos, like I really like video. I don't know why. I'm just listening to them most of the time, but I want a video to be able to look at.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why. Maybe it has something to do with like my ADHD and having to be able to see sometimes what they're talking about. But they could just be sitting here like me, and if I can put it on my TV and listen to it, I'm going to.
Well, because I'm deaf in my right ear, I'm a lip reader, so that videos. Podcasts are really helpful for me. So
the mask thing really.
The mask thing has been woo.
Because it's been difficult for me. Like I've literally yelled at people, not like yelled, but it's like, dude, if you're content on wearing this fucking mask outside, speak up because I can't hear you. Like when the back door first opened up, I think it was like Pat and a bunch of the other comics that like had double mask on. But then everyone talk like this, and it's like, bro, like you already talk mumbly, like. You're gonna have to speak up and pronunciate a little bit.
And so like teaching with masks, like I also don't hear directionally, so like I don't know where sound is coming from.
So
like,
you do the 360 every time.
Well, like that, I look to see who's talking. You can't do that with masks. So one time I was teaching, and this girl over here answered, and I looked at a girl over here, and I was like, "Great answer, thank you so much." And then like someone raised their hand, and they were like, "Miss Zell, that was." Lindsay or whatever.
Lindsay's like, fucking bitch.
I know. And I was like, Lindsay, I am so sorry.
I was like, that was my participation trophy, goddamn.
So then they started having to raise their hands every time they talked. Like, I was like, just raise your hand so I know who's talking.
Yeah. How did you lose your hearing?
I was born like that. So, you know, like cleft palate?
Yeah.
It's like that, but for your ear. Okay. So I actually have a working ear. It's just deformed, so no sound can get in.
It doesn't look deformed, does it? I've never seen it. It's like a normal. I mean, it's just a smaller ear, but it's not like.
It's kind of pointy.
But yeah, you got long hair too, so.
Yeah.
So like they couldn't go in there and like put a straw in there and.
Vincent Opper, I was talking to him today, and he was talking on this side of me. I was like, sorry, because I do jokes about it, but I was like, I really am deaf in that ear, like. That's why I'm ignoring you. And he was like, no, you've shown it to me before. It's fucked up. And I was like...
Now, I have dated a girl, Heather Spingaman, and she had an extra thumb.
And she never got it removed?
No. No doctor wanted to work on it, I believe, because it was like wrapped around. Something was wrapped around something. It's like... It was cool. I mean, it really gave the hand job another. I'm kidding. We were like 8th or 7th grade. I wasn't getting handies from her. I was getting them from her sister. No. No. I mean, maybe 7th grade. Yeah, I was the man. No. So, what about you? You got a boyfriend, a husband, a fiance?
Nothing.
I'm
single.
She's like, I'm riding Tinder, baby.
No, I got banned from Tinder.
How do you get banned from Tinder?
Okay, I didn't even do anything. My friend this is what went down, okay?
Love when this way the story started so far.
So my friend gets on Tinder and she sees this guy that says like, I'll pay anyone $500 to kick me in the balls. And she was like, done. I'll take $500 for that. And then Tinder was like, banter. They were like, that was inappropriate. She didn't say anything. She just like swiped right on that guy. Whatever. And so then she gets banned and she's like, this sucks. And I was like, that sucks. I'm sorry. And then she's like, can I try to log in on your phone? Then it'll probably be fine. And then I got banned.
From her logging in on your phone. Oh, plenty of fishers now, huh? I've learned about all these new apps. See, I met the Tinder thing wasn't a thing. Like I just put it on my phone a couple months back, and it's more entertainment than anything.
Oh yeah, I do like Bumble and Hinge. That's where I'm at.
I don't know what those are.
You
I guess I'm not
Bumble?
up. No.
That's like
Is that the one you got to pay for everything?
No.
Oh.
Bumble's the one that girls message first.
Oh.
It's kind of cute and fun.
Yeah, I guess. I mean.
Except I have to think of all
do
these
y'all
messages.
do that?
Do we message?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to swipe right on you.
See, I did make the mistake the first time I downloaded it. I was just like, just hit like. We'll make some girl's day. I didn't get any messages. No. Yeah, no, I didn't like my wife told me like how cocky the guys are and some of the messages that I was like, they'll bullshit.
Nuts.
I was like, dudes will not. They'll be like, yeah. She's like, look, I got a guy that just hit me up and said, hey, you like anal? And it's like, are you kidding me?
No, it's like that. It's nuts. So that Bumble kind of like makes it better because at least we have to say like, hey, how's it going? And then they say that.
And then it's like, dick
how's
pic,
anal?
dick pic.
Yeah.
You want this in your ass? It's like, whoa. I was talking about tea. No. I got on there to see like, it was like, this seems really convenient because I'm old school, I guess is what do they call it now. Like I've never hooked up with anyone off of Tinder. Never once.
Look at you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not proud of it. I mean, ladies. No, but it just seemed too good to be true, and it is. It seems like I went on there and was looking, and it's like every profile. I was like, Tinder, I'm thinking, this is booty calls. This is hookup. Mm-hmm. I mean, this isn't the dating app you're looking for your soulmate, in my eyes. Like you don't want to hear, Dad, how did you meet Mom? Well, 2 o'clock one morning, I downloaded this app called Tinder.
Set you up.
Yeah. And it just doesn't. Every girl on there is like, I want this. He's got to be like this. He's got to be this. He's got to be like this. I can only imagine what the guy side's like. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's just like preferences, all. Like
No, oh yeah. I was talking to another comedian, and he was like, "Is it like pretty easy for you to get matches?" I'm like, I mean, yeah, just like yeah, you get matches, and he was like, it must be nice. Like I think for guys, you're hoping to get one or two. Yeah. Maybe that's not true.
I mean, is your notifications or the matches you're not allowed to see unless you pay for premium or something? Because I get this messages on my email all the time. It's like, you have 18 likes or like.
So a match you can see, but a like means like you haven't swiped right, but someone else has on you. Oh. But you haven't like also swiped right on them.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't get into it because how do you even start with like what does somebody say? I guess I'm just older now. It's like because I don't even know how to start a conversation through that kind of thing. It's like, hey, we're on Tinder. Like, isn't this?
You know what's going down.
Isn't that? I thought, but it seemed like. Not from what these girls are saying in their profile. They're like, not here for any BS. Do not waste my time. It's like,
I mean, some people are on Tinder like for their soulmate. I don't know if that's the best choice, but
yeah, I thought it was a booty call thing. Plenty of Fish. That's pretty obvious that it's a booty call one, right?
Plenty of Fish seems real sketch to me. My hair lady found her guy on Plenty of Fish because people just go live and then you can just be like, yeah, I kind of like you. But I'm like, but then there's like bouncers on the live rooms. I was like, this sounds nuts. I'm going to stay away from that.
Too techy for me.
I was like, I'm fine.
I haven't even figured out TikTok lives yet.
I haven't even figured out TikTok.
Oh, I'm getting paid from TikTok.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm a TikToker.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hit my 10,000 and got monetized a couple months back. I had a video
Dude.
hit like 6 million or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's hard to get that another video. If I can get more videos to go, but I'm up to like 48,000 followers now.
There you go.
And almost 1 million likes. So not much. I'm not making tons of money. Obviously, I'm not like but I mean, I can look in there. Every time I've looked into the thing, it's like got $100 or $200 in there.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I go in there like once every couple of months to see, and it's
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Like I don't put no effort into it. I guess it's just like Twitter, which I don't use Twitter at all.
Yeah.
I have it now, but I'm not a nice enough person, I guess, to be honest. It's like, oh, you're back. You tweeted, banned. It's like, yeah, that's about right. Yeah. So, but TikTok's gotten really bad with banning people too. Like, I'm on my last. Like, they send me shit all the time. They're like, hey, make sure that video's within community guidelines. You're on your last one. I was like, if you fucking take my shit, I just woke up one morning and I had all these notifications and a video that I had posted, and it was a short clip that I'd sped up and I just put this guy fucks, and it's this black guy, young black politician from Florida, talking shit on Biden. He's like, he ain't never worked a real job in his life. He doesn't know anything about the economy. And like this brother is breaking down facts and shit. And it's like, oh, he's getting some pussy, I bet, after this. And that's all I put on there. This guy fucks. And every conservative on TikTok is likes that shit because it's a black man that's a conservative that's talking shit on Biden. I'm like, that checks all the boxes. And like, I know people get confused with my page because I have shit that's talking shit on like Trump and Biden and like just anything and everything. I have a very wide stance on many things. I'm not in one box or one, like I have different views. I regularly carry a gun, but I think there needs to be something done with guns. But I'm also live in St. Louis, so don't fuck with mine. Like, I feel in Missouri, if you cross the state line, they should give you one. Like, you're going to St. Louis? Take that. Like, that's what you're going to need. Like, St. Louis is bad. I've asked my stepdad about clubs. I think Octob was having a mic, and I was like, hey, do you know where this is at? And he seen the little flyer, and he said it was like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, I don't take my black ass down there during the day. Yeah. Like, I want to take your white ass down there during the night. Yeah. I was like, that's not that bad. It's that bad. In some of those places, like, I had my car break down out there not too long ago, and I'm walking because I had to walk just a battery died from when those motherfuckers stole it, and there was some kind of wire loose. And it was uncomfortable. Like, you had motherfuckers staring there like, what is this, dude? Because I broke down in the neighborhood that I was working on this house, and like car wouldn't start. I'm like, shit. So I had to find an AutoZone, and like nobody that I knew from out there. I'm like hitting up like Dasha and all the people from Word Up. I'm like, hey, you gonna help your little your white chocolate Hershey Kiss out over here. But no one said anything to me. I think they knew. They were like, he's probably got some issues if he thinks he can walk through here. But you definitely would hear them talking on their porch, and then like I'd walk by and they just got quiet, and they were like, oh. Just as I would is if they were probably walking down my street. But my street, it don't matter what color you are. If you're on my street and you're not supposed to be, we're looking at you. Like, my neighbors are bad too. They'll be sending pictures. Do you know this car? It's like, I don't know the car, but maybe they're just trying to get laid, Karen. Like, leave them alone, all right? Like, damn, it's a dark dirt road. How many times as a kid did you get blown out of the back of a fucking Volkswagen? Be quiet. Right? I don't fuck with little kids, but we do get a lot of them. We get a lot of teenagers come down here and smoke weed and have sex. And they think, like, and it's dark down there. We don't have any street lights. So when you walk up on them, you walk around, you terrify the shit out. I don't even fuck with them. I'm like, I don't care. You know how many times I've gone and pulled into any chance I got. You know, if she was down with it, so I'm like, go right on, man. Get it, girl. You know. But I don't know. So you're graduating.
Yep.
Oh, you got big plans for a big party?
I think I'm gonna have a party.
Yeah, you should. College, that's a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah. No debt?
Definitely debt.
Definitely debt.
Definitely debt.
I got mine paid off, thank God.
Dude, I got this call that was like, you are eligible for loan forgiveness, but I'm pretty sure it's a scam.
Yeah.
It's a scam?
Yeah,
okay,
probably.
Damn.
Yeah, the government doesn't call you. They're not just
like, what's up, Emily?
Yeah. They don't, there's not a law in the books that says we're supposed to pay taxes. We only pay them because we think we're supposed to, and that's what the law basically goes off of. They're like, you pay for it by ignorance. You don't know, and it's hard to fight it, but there are many people out there that don't pay their taxes legally because it's supposed to be a donation. A tax is a donation is what it's supposed to be. And I've really dove down that one, and then I realized our tax system's fucked. I'm not the smartest guy, but I can usually look into and research something and understand the basics. But our tax code is fucked. It's got to be completely redone, completely. They're rigging it. Like Eric Weinstein, I don't know if you know him. He does his brother's Brett Weinstein has the Dark Horse podcast. Eric is a mathematician for MIT and all these other things. But he was talking about this, we'll call it a conspiracy. Back in the day when they were writing the tax code, they had brought in some of the greatest mathematician minds in the country, and they supposedly made it to where basically they steal trillions from us that we don't even know about through taxes, and they built this mathematically it's impossible damn near to figure out where they did it or something like that. Really crazy theory that he has or story that he has, and I've tried to find more about it. He talks about it a little bit, but then he gets emotional because he's a math guy, and I guess they're emotional. I don't know. I'm sure if I thought about numbers all day I'd want to cry too. Yeah. See, But I'd probably be more famous like Eric Weinstein because he thinks about numbers and I think about
someone's
boobs.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah. Somebody's got to support them strippers though.
Yeah, you're right.
Single mothers with daddy issues. Isn't that the goal of a parent? Is just to keep them off the pole. That's I guess if I had a son, I'd let him.
Parenting book.
Yeah.
Keep him off the pole.
Unless it's your son. If you can have a son that really can make it shaking it, fucking lucky. Because if I could get paid to walk around naked doing the helicopter all day long, my dick would just be swinging. That would be what I'd do. I knew a girl that just started stripping, and the money she's making.
Yeah.
It's invest it quickly. If I could make that money, I think within 2 years I could probably have enough to finally put into the smart enough investments where I would make money off enough dividends to be able to pay all my bills. But that's a lot. Yeah. You need a good $100,000 just in investments that you're willing to lose, which I don't. So I've never been to Vegas. You ever been to Vegas?
No.
No?
I've been nowhere.
Yeah, you got to change that.
I've been to Texas.
Texas?
Yeah.
That's where I want to go. I think that's the comedy.
You've never been?
Nope.
I did 2 summers interning there at a church.
Are they real Christian down there?
Yeah, sure. I've been there about it.
Do the pastors carry guns too?
No. Not that I know of. Maybe they didn't tell me.
I guess it's not what I envisioned then.
You're never mind.
I thought they had guns strapped to baby strollers out there. Texas is where I want to go, though. I think that's the new comedy. That's going to be the comedy epicenter, because of COVID in New York and what the COVID's done to LA. And you got the Joe Rogan and his comedy shop that he's building, Tony Hinchcliffe, and you got these other comedians that all have clubs, and Austin, Texas is I think that I want to go there and try to perform. Like, I would
Yeah.
love to get on like a Joe Rogan. Like, he has open micers and all kinds of shit come on, and I guess he's got a club now or something. Sounds cool. But then again, I want to go to Dave Chappelle's club too. I just think it would be cool
Yeah.
to perform at those. Like, if I could
Yeah.
play the blues, I would want to go to BB King's blues bar and play. So you say you don't listen to much music. Do you have a favorite genre,
Of
band?
music.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my honest answer. I like show tunes. I was a theater kid, like musicals.
Okay. Oh, we are the complete opposite on that. Like, I can't watch a movie that's a musical, like a sing along, like a singing movie. Can't do it.
I really like it. But also I guess I'm also into like the one playlist I listen to, Spotify just calls it my moody mix, and it's just kind of like sad and folksy.
Oh, it's not that. Pop that pussy, pop that pussy. No, no. Yeah, I like a lot of music. Music is a big deal, but you don't have a favorite band or musician or somebody that's like a CD? Not even Hanson? You're like, who's that?
Yeah, that was my thought.
Hanson was our when I was a little kid's New Direction or
One Direction.
One Direction. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of not really.
But
into
they
One
actually
Direction.
played instruments
Uh-huh.
and wrote songs. I don't know if One Direction was doing that.
I just like change all the time. I just like right now I'm listening to a lot of Lizzie McAlpine.
Is that country?
No, she's like moody and sad and folksy.
Okay, I can deal with that. I like blues and indie and folk.
Do I have a favorite band? No.
No.
I just am not really about it.
She's like, no, give me a good show tune.
No, that's how I go. I listen to different musicals, and I'm like, this is the musical I'm listening to right now. Like Legally Blonde, the musical slaps. I'm not saying I'm proud of that. I think that, but it is great.
I'll have to check that one out.
You should.
Is it just like a mix of different old songs? The soundtrack, isn't it?
No, it's original music for Legally Blonde, the musical.
Oh, yeah, okay, I lied. I really like the Pitch Perfect movies. Those are
They're
fucking hilarious.
fantastic.
They are great.
Yeah.
Like, they've done. I was shocked. They shocked me with the second one. Really shocked me with the second one. Like, I was like, I didn't think they were gonna outdo the first one, but they did.
Uh-huh.
Third one.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I think Fat Patricia's my favorite too. Like, she's my favorite probably out of them all. That and the Chinese chick.
It's so like, I ate my twin in the womb.
Do you guys want to see a body?
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that was Jules turned me on to that years ago. When this 2 first came out, I remember I had cable and I pay-per-viewed it or whatever, so we had it like for like a week, and I probably watched it more than any straight man should watch it. A little bit of My Real Dad was coming out.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Yes, it is The Pest with John Leguizamo.
Okay, never heard of it.
No, it's a comedy. It was one of that. Major Payne is my other big. Damon Wayans, Major Payne. Wow,
Is that a really big movie?
It's It's the best, like, comedy wise. Man, I watched it not too long ago, and you forget how much gold is in there.
So you're a
Like,
comedy movie guy.
I like that. Lately, I haven't watched many. I'm probably on the past couple of years on movies and like Netflix and stuff like that. I've been more like you with music. Haven't. I used to be. My stepdad collected movies and DVDs. He's got like thousands. Like, when we traded in from VHS to DVD, I think he spent like 2 days at a pawn shop and selling his VHSs, and they had to go through them all.
Wow.
And he was able to buy all new DVDs, all new DVD player, and at this time they were, hundreds of dollars. Digital surround sound system, new TV, the whole nine. All off of the VHS profit that he made, and he still has like probably 2,000 VHSs that he saved that were collectibles. Yeah, he has a wall like that was just packed full of DVDs and Blu-rays. That was his thing, is he collected movies, and we knew growing up every Tuesday was New Movie Tuesday. Like, that's when the new movies were released, and he would be at Walmart until like 7 o'clock reading the back of them. But he ended up buying them all, and it was big movie buff. I like horror movies too, like Pumpkinhead. But I like horror movies,
Okay.
like monsters and ghosts and shit like that. Like Michael Myers never scared me. Like, I was like, man, I'll outrun that motherfucker so quick. Jason, psh, you too big. You can't gonna catch me. You ain't got the wind. You ain't got the lungs, motherfucker. But Pumpkinhead, a monster show up, I'm out. Like, or the Alien Abduction, one movie got me. But I think the worst was The Ring. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Oh, yeah, no, I turned my TV around when I was a little kid on that one. Bitch would, like, you'd watch this VHS that was like a blank, and people would put it in, and you'd get a phone call at the end of this really crazy looking film, and it'd say 7 days. And then at the 7 days, your TV would pop on, and this crazy bitch would crawl out of the, like, all like marled up, and she'd crawl out of this well and crawl out of your TV. And she'd look at you, her hair, like, you ever seen the girl that's like really white in the white nightgown with the black hair that's always down?
Yeah.
That's the girl from The Ring.
Okay.
And when she looks up at you and you see her eyes, she like does something, and like you're so scared, scares you to death basically, but your face becomes all like you're all scared, and it's like, oh, it's crazy. So yeah, that movie freaked me out when I first saw it. So I turned my TV around. I was like, let that bitch come out this TV. She's hitting that wall, and then I'm drop kicking that bitch like a football. Yeah, my parents thought that was funny when that's a classic. Like, that one really did freak a lot of kids out.
Okay.
Like, that was The Exorcist was another one that I grew up watching. That was like. And then when I found out it happened in St. Louis, actually, and it was a little boy and not a little girl. They only used a little girl for the movie. I was like, oh shit, this could happen to me. Like, it was crazy because it was based on true events and everything. Have you seen The Exorcist?
I didn't know that. No.
You haven't seen The Exorcist?
No.
Oh, that's you're like.
The only horror movies I've seen are like Get Out and The Quiet Place, because I'm a basic bitch.
What was Get Out?
Get Out and Us were the ones by
I thought that was
Key
just
and
about
Peele,
racism.
but it's like the horror genre
Oh, is it?
because racism is horrific.
I thought it was.
Kinda deep.
It's horrific, but it was. It doesn't.
No, those movies are good.
Yeah, I've heard they were good. I really like Key and Peele. Like they're masters at what they do. But I've never. I'm still blown away. You've never seen The Exorcist. We're gonna have to change that. Like that's a great one. Like, yeah. I've seen The Notebook probably 30 times. Never seen the end.
Why would you not wait till the end? Oh, okay.
Because it works every time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is. Mm-hmm. I even went and seen it in the theater.
Wow. You didn't see it in the end, even in the theater?
I don't remember it. I sat through it. And more important things to be thinking about and to take care of at the time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things going on in my teenage life. Yeah, because that came out when I was in high school. That was like the movie. I don't know what the movie is today.
I don't know. I'm not cool.
You're pretty cool. I mean,
Thank
you're here.
You're right. You're right.
You know, and it's not for sexual reasons.
Yeah.
Unless, no, I'm. They're like, well, you ruined it.
Yeah.
You ruined it. Sexual harassment? I don't know. What is that? I've seen a lot of people going down lately with that. That's the next one I think they're going to get Joe on.
Yeah.
They're like, there's somebody that's saving it. They're like, well, I'm waiting. We're going to cancel them.
I've never listened to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Now you're disappointed.
Now you're just making you mad.
Yeah, like there is somebody. That's the best thing about him is there is somebody that you really either look up to or really find interesting that he's had on. Like he has on so many crazy guests. Like it's like, holy shit! And like sometimes, like one day it's a physicist, and the next day it's a comic that just tells dick jokes, and then you got Alex Jones. Like those are the most hilarious. Like the Alex Jones episodes are too funny. Like they are hilarious. That guy is hilarious. I'm not an Alex Jones, like I don't believe the shit he's saying. He is entertaining to watch though. Like it is definitely entertainment. But yeah, no, Joe's like, I didn't get into him, but a couple of years ago, it was like he was already a huge thing when I got into him. And it was all because of the Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson, which he does. He's a professor and teaches sacred geometry. No, he does sacred geometry a lot. He's really into that, but he's a geologist, a famous geologist, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the kind of people he brings on, architects
Yeah.
and what's the word I'm looking for? The people that do the real old digging up shit. Archaeologists. That's like Graham, and he has those kinds of people on all the time. And then he'll get people that like disagree with each other and have them on, and like, or he'll have like Graham Hancock and Randall versus Michael Sherman, which is like a skeptic. He's like a professional guy that's like, if it's not what the government told us, it's, you know, he debunks as many conspiracies as he can, which I like. I enjoy that. Like, that's, even if you find an interesting one, I like the conspiracies because I can allow my brain to just be like, what if that was real? I can't allow my brain to be like, that's real. Like, unless it's the government. Anytime, because I've just seen it firsthand. Like, I watched my dad until I was like, he lost his arm when I was still in the womb with my mom. He didn't start collecting a check from the government for getting his arm cut off by a boat propeller until I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. Yeah, that's how long he had to fight with them to get disability from losing an arm. Like, and I just knew. And then I heard about the Tuskegee, and I grew up hearing about the all the chemicals, aerosol testing they did down here in St. Louis on my dad's neighborhoods and shit that he grew up around. And it's just like, there is nothing, like, I've never met someone that's like 100% trust the government or believes anything they said. That's why it's so kind of shock and awe that people get behind and are so loyal to their parties and their politicians. It's like, you don't really trust them, do you? And like, it's like, so why are we allowing them to separate us and segregate the one, like, because it is kind of, in my eyes, us versus politicians. Like, cause they are not our representation anymore. They haven't been. Like, they prove this time and time again with the laws they create. Just like they could have gotten Medicare for all during COVID. The AOC, the one that said she was running on that and wanted that. All she could have forced the vote. She could have been done. It would come down to her to tell Pelosi to force a vote on the floor, and she won it. Because it would have made her look bad, and she fell in line. And it's like, you literally ran on that, like to get Pelosi out and to get Medicare for all. You had the opportunity to do it, and you backed down. It's like, you're fake. And then you find out like she's funneling money from donations into her husband's or boyfriend's. What is it called? Not mentor, but. Consulting firm, millions of that. It's like, that's you're stealing donations. Like, you're stealing, and it's like the people that you expect to be so good, they never are. Like, I've fucked around and I thought Obama was it. And I voted for him because I was able to. His first term, within a month, I regretted it. I was like, I'll never fucking do that again. He said he ran on not bailing out the fucking the all these big corporations, making them, bringing them to justice. Month in, he's fucking stroking checks out to everybody. It's like, you're a cuck. That's all he is. That's what they all are to me, is cucks. But I get people get very passionate about it. Very passionate for some reason lately. I don't remember this as a kid. Growing up as a teenager, it was never this polarized. Like, as far as the left and the right, like, it wasn't called left and right. There was none of that. This left, center, none of the liberal, conservative. It was Republican or Democrat. Those were you never heard any of these other terms growing up.
Yeah.
And it's gotten so, I'm a liberal. I thought that was left. I've just learned that it's not left. Like, I was like, okay, well then, I don't even get it anymore. Everything's so separated, which is ruining a lot of good shit.
Yeah.
A lot of good shit.
Honestly, I don't think that we're listening to each other anymore. I think we just listen to, like, our own group, and then we're just like, yeah.
And if it doesn't
everyone else.
confirm our biases, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like we all want to listen to things we agree with. That's easier and more comfortable, and I totally get that. But I don't think there's ever a softening to the other side if you can't like truly listen well to the other side.
And you'll never hold your side accountable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You'll always find a reason why, or they'll default on the, well, Biden did this or Trump did this, and when he was, it's like, that's not what we're talking about.
But here's the thing. I think that the like polarization is a lot less of like we're so Democrat or we're so Republican. It's honestly, I think it's more become like anti-Democrat, anti-Republican. Like they don't really care as much about their own shit as much as like hating each other.
They just want to be right.
Maybe that's not true. I'm not very into politics, but that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a big part of it. Like I feel like no one can just take the responsibility of being wrong and admitting to being like, yeah, we lost. We didn't do it. We didn't put a good candidate up, like with Hillary. She wasn't a good one. We a lot of people told you that. If you believed what the news was pushing, then you're an idiot. Like if you couldn't see that Trump was catching it up, it was bad. Like and there's things that I don't think Trump did everything bad. I think he did a great. He was the tariff taxes. I looked into his policies, and some of the policies, the tariff taxes, we needed back on. Today, what we're being taxed, the motherfuckers went to war and died for a lot less than what we're being taxed today.
Yeah.
Like they would turn over their graves 10 times if they heard they came back alive and they seen what we were fucking paying in taxes. They'd be like, we threw a bunch of tea and shit in the river, in the bay, and had a whole war over this, right?
Yeah.
And we're right back to it. And nobody just wants to admit that they're wrong and things like their side fucked up. Like, yeah, maybe I go way back. I followed it all the way back when I was in college. I looked into it. It was like, it all started in 1913 with the creation of the Federal Reserve, which was illegally created in December 24th because no one could veto it because they were all at home with their families for Christmas. So that was illegally created and forged, and it was a bunch of billionaires, Morgan Chase, Warburg, and a bunch of the other top billionaires came together, and there's a book about it called Creature of Jekyll Island. On Georgia, there's a place called Jekyll Island, mansions, real rich area. And they literally wore disguises on the trains and everything to get there because they didn't want nobody to know that they were all meeting together. And they met up, and they came up with this plan to take control of the world's finances, pretty much. And that's why we have the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank. It has nothing to do with the government. Like the Federal Reserve is not a government entity. They do not answer to our government. Our government does not make their rules. They are a privately owned, private shareholder banks that we're not allowed to know of who the owners are. They don't have to say it. Like last time we tried to crack down on the banks, the Federal Reserve, they came out and straight up said, Alan Greenspan was like, we'll bring the whole economy down like a ton of bricks. We don't answer to you. You are not our boss. You do not tell us what we do. We are the Federal Reserve. We are a private, separate entity from any government. And they control all the prices. They control it all. And they just now made it illegal for them to trade stocks. But it goes all the way back to that. And then you have a bunch of fuck-ups like being taken off the gold standard. And then you got the Glass-Steagall Act that was revoked by Bill Clinton, which causes what we're in today, where we see all these monopolies and everything. And it's just from there, it's gotten real bad because of the monopolies that put in the money into lobbying. Like if I could be a lobbyist, that sounds like the job. Like I don't like them, but if I could join them, all I do is bribe politicians all day. Yeah. Done. Like deal. Or just one of these jobs where I get to give puppies cocaine all day. Like I was just reading studies of the NIH was given like $2 million to give puppies cocaine and to see the effect. I'm like, I did it for half that, bitch. Like, shit, give me the coke. Like, throw some puppies this way. You can give me the beagles that Fauci had with the sand fleas.
You just like hold a nostril like closed of a puppy and just like.
I think you gotta train them. So I will show them how to do it.
Oh yeah.
Just and then a few. every couple of hours. So let's go ahead. You got social medias? I know it's getting a little later.
Yes, I am on Instagram, Emily_Zell, Twitter, Emily K Zell.
Bumble.
I'm on TikTok. Never I have one. I don't even know my username. Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Twitter, mostly I just tweet about random existential things. So
I'll have to check that out.
if you're into that, it's not very funny.
I go through Twitter sometimes and I really see the downfall of the human civilization.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I really seen that. You really want to see the downfall, go on TikTok and push the live button, and it'll take you to all the people that are live and that are just talking about shit, and just swipe,
Yeah,
and
that
you will
sounds
be you get so uncomfortable by how stupid and how gone some of these people are. It's like maybe it's just my algorithm, but if this is even a 0.5% of what we're dealing with as far as the population, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Because these people they're not sane. They're not I've got some. I thought I was pretty radical in the way I thought. These people,
Nope.
yeah, I had one. I was trolling at first, but this chick has this thing about debating, and she says she wants to abolish all prisons, all this, and I was like, so what do we do with somebody that rapes a child and is caught red-handed? Where they don't have to go to jail or anything. They don't go to prison. No, they're rehabilitated and put back into society. I was like, where are they rehabilitated at? Like, where do they do that? Where do we separate? You said we separate them from society and rehabilitate. So where do we separate them? What is that building called? What is that place? It's probably got some fences and some doors that lock. And you could tell immediately her eyes, she was like, this motherfucker. I was like, I found a hole in your fucking wall there. Like, that is prison. You're just calling it rehabilitation, which they tried that already. But so Emily_Zell.
Yep.
Yep. And Instagram. I don't have one. I have an Instagram. I don't understand it.
That Instagram is my age group's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're killing it, Instagram.
I'm going to have to get on Instagram. That's where all the young hotties are, I guess. Maybe that's why I'm not on there. I don't understand. I don't get it. I thought it looks just like marketing to me.
No, it's fun.
Really?
I also do digital marketing for a company on Instagram.
Oh, so you're good with all that stuff, huh?
I'm fine. I don't have an aesthetic. There's girls that are way more into it. I'm just I like that picture. I'll throw it up there. I'm pretty chill.
Yeah.
I'm good at it in a chill way.
Yeah. I want to get paid to show just pictures of my lips, all blushes and lip balm next to it. Give me a $1 million. No, I've got an Etsy store and stuff, but I'm just horrible with marketing.
What do you sell on Etsy?
I do furniture, floating shelves.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. I don't think I have anything around that I've built. Yeah, that, vinyl record holders. She does dream catchers. She makes a lot of money with that.
Yeah.
Do jewelry boxes too. That's a big seller right now. That we get hit up a couple times a month for jewelry boxes. Just easy stuff. I used to have a bunch of material left over from a lot of the job sites I'm on. I'll bring home the scrap wood and use it to build with. So if you want to buy some shit, go ahead.
Yeah.
I sell Etsy. I sell.